So this is the same lock, the guard lock. This is, in what year is this? 1885? 89, 4 years later. And these, well, they're both doing the gang signs. Got the bent knee forwards, hand in the pocket, hide the hand, squared arm position there. You can see, got the hat on, rowing a boat, and the woodwork and everything is perfect back here. See the wood here? It's like a machine made that or something. Look at that. It's like come on. And really a suspension bridge just to get to that. Really, it's just over the top. A suspension bridge, really. An iron one too is at that. Iron suspension bridge. It looks like iron. Yeah, there's a bolt right there. I can't see how many stars are on that flag, but it looks like less. I don't know. It looks like less, which may be correct in the time period. I don't know. And the city is built out back there. You can't really see it. It's kind of fogged out. I think this might be some slight alterations because of the city being built out back there of Des Moines, and it just shouldn't be. You see, that's kind of just strange that it's foggy like that. He was getting great shots, he wasn't doing that, so there's a reason this is foggy. Just some slight alterations, but not like complete, because you can still kind of see through it. You can see buildings and such and stuff in there, you know. The whole city of Des Moines is built out. What is that? Maybe an airship up there or something, or a couple of them. There is some strange stuff in the sky in some of these shots that look like airships and planes and whatnot, and some that look like scratches on the photographs, or I don't know. But very seldom do you see those like major like alterations in these. There's Des Moines. Is it Des Moines? Hmm. I think so. And it's fully built out. I think we saw this photograph already from closer though. Yeah, we did. We saw it closer. There's that water tower, and then something right there, pretty big. Oh, there's our buildings over there. We couldn't see them as well in the first photograph. We saw this. There's that plane thing again. So this is a wider. Is it the same shot or what? Maybe it's the same one. What is that thing there? That must be something there then, because it was in the other shot too, in the second part, the last video. It's like a plane or something. I don't know what that is. Big buildings up there, and maybe a big tree or a water tower there. A lot of steam. It's cool to see that when you don't have the alterations like the vanilla sky, to actually see the stuff like the smoke billowing and stuff like that. Cool to see that. And see how the bluffs are the star of the show here, flat level all the way across, as if that happens naturally everywhere, all the way across the lands. Every major waterway just happens to be exact, especially the Mississippi River. Along this journey, he went to areas because all the infrastructure is the same from Minnesota all the way to Missouri. It's very much the same. The lands look the same. See, this perfectly level. It's the same height all the way across, same grade. You know, that just can't happen naturally. Did, I think we saw some of these. Did I screw up? What did I do here? Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe I'm tripping. And maybe I'm tripping. Oops. This bridge is so. This is one of the ones that has some alteration because we got the city Dubac, or I don't know how to say that. Dubaque. I don't know how do you say that. Dubac. I don't know. Iowa. It's a big city though. I know it's a big city like Davenport, and it's fully built out. I think we saw this one already, but look, fully built out. Bridges back there, big trestles back there that go into this bigger bridge. See the trestle goes into this bigger bridge back here, behind there. See, all the way across, and then these truss bridges right here are just works of art. Look at this pier. There's a lock in there for that. These piers are all are different shapes than these ones. These ones are like a different shape. Very cool. Both are train trusses. Huge transmission tower. There's the next one over there. Transmission tower. More power lines and such, and radio antennas and whatever else they got back there. And here in this city as well, same thing. Along the river, water's edge, bluffs, same shape. That sloped ridge and the flat level on top, same height each one. Same height across, flat level on top. Huge, enormous buildings. We may have seen this already, but the rest will be new. If I didn't show this one already, I think I did. Big buildings, though, very big buildings in this city. See? These are all huge buildings, and there's a huge cathedral right there, like a white-looking thing. And this is alteration, because he wasn't taking shots like this. He was a phenomenal photographer. He wouldn't do that. He wouldn't do that. This is cool because we got the capable equipment right there. Some sort of a hoist crane right here. I don't know what that is. An engine or a I don't know, a turbine or not a turbine, but a generator of some kind. I don't know. It's like an engine kind of, but I don't know what kind of engine that would be. It's weird. These two. I don't know what that would be even. These two. It looks like there's like some sort of a port right here on a flange. I don't know. That's cool though. See, they got the machine. They got all the stuff they need. All the machinery. I mean, look at this. They're showing off in this joint. Look at that. How beautiful that is. And this little venting up here is even pretty. Matches. See how nice that is. And you see this venting on top of these structures. That usually means there's machinery inside of it, or if there's a stack coming out like that. And then the intake has two different gates. There's one right or more maybe. There's like one here and one the other way. And look at the artwork. Look at this. The work in here is perfect, beautiful. This is tapered. This damaged brick wall is tapered, and look at how it smoothly transitions just around into this. It's so nice. And this edging on all this down here. Look how beautiful that is. How it's been done. How perfect. That's good work. And then you look at the woodwork. Look at the wood. These are cross angles. They're cross hatched here. See? And they're done perfectly. Flush every board. These are come out to a point just like for an artistic value, I guess. Look at that. And you ain't kidding. Just beautiful in there. Look at that. Look at that. Like a big bowling pin or a game piece from the game Sorry. Right? Or a pawn in the game of chess. There's more machinery back here. Strange tower things. Oh, this thing's sticking out of this thing? What is that? I didn't see that before. How did I miss that? They're all gang members. Yes, they are. Let's get the squared arm position. Knees slightly bent forward. Same here. Knee bent forward, high in the hand. Head in the head. Head in the head, high in the hand. Knee forward. Looks kind of... I don't know. He looks kind of drunk or something. Looks like he's had a few too many there. He might be kind of swaying at the moment of the shot. He doesn't look sturdy. You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't look sturdy. I don't know. Maybe losing his balance there, which wouldn't be good right here. That's a pretty high fall. Anywho, the bluffs are the star of the show. See, the bluffs are the star of the show. They're flat and level. They're all the way across. They're the same height at the water's edge always. See, the water's edge. That's why we were doing this project. Just because of the bluffs. Oh, look at this! Right in the middle of the bluffs. There's the prison. There's the prison, baby. And yes, I think it was a prison. No, I don't think it was repurposed. That's ridiculous. Have you thought about that? I know people like to say that like stuff was always repurposed, and I know there's a lot of repurposing going on. Every day there is stuff being repurposed. But I'm saying, no way in hell were these not prisons. Every structure, facility that looks like this, that is like this, is a prison. All the old prisons, like the turn of the century, old world one, all the old prisons look like this. And what's inside of here, now I've been able to tour some of these and actually go inside some of these and see, and explore some of them. These prisons on the inside of these joints, all of them are the same. State of the art cement work, concrete work, and brick. And state of the art cement work, polishing over everything inside. Polished over everything inside is the most durable and state of the art cement that you can ever imagine or ever come to contact with. It's as smooth as glass, and you can't damage that stuff. And that's how every one of these facilities is made. The ironwork with all the bars, all the iron bars, all that casting of all that iron, they're all iron too. And they're not just bars, just like a bar, and two runners. No, they're actually pretty. Some of them are pretty ornate, rather ornate. But that all that work to say that these were repurposed would give credit to the folks lying to us, and it's these folks here standing around doing nothing, that they managed to get every single one of these facilities in the entire world converted over to a prison from whatever it was before, and managed to do state-of-the-art cement work in all of these, and concrete work in all of these structures. They are already the most beautiful brick facilities, as you can see, with walls and towers, guard towers. No way, that makes no sense to me that these folks would have been able to pull that off, because every single one of these facilities that looks like this is a prison, or they say it was a prison. And every old prison looks just like this. So there's no way. Maybe there are some facilities that look like this that weren't prisons, but the ones that are prisons were not repurposed. They were prisons. There's no way they could have done this. There's no way. These folks pulled this off, because what's in there is pretty impressive. That's what I had to say about that one as well. And look at how we're building willy-nilly like this way up here, as if the Indians had no issue with them constructing this huge monstrosity right here with the gated walls, right? As if they had no issue with this. They had, and these folks were just, so free, it seems, in this land, so free just to do what they wanted, that they were just building anywhere. Boom, here, boom, right the side of the hill, the top of the hill, the side of the hill, the side of the hill. Are you kidding me? Wherever they pleased. They were just running willy-nilly everywhere in this joint, it looks like. You see? That's a scratch in the photograph. But you get what I'm saying? Look at the picket fences, how these folks could just run them straight up hills. Every post is just perfect. Look at how these posts are anchored upright, each one of them perfectly. That's not easy to do on an incline, on such a steep grade like that. It's not easy to get these posts upright and sturdy, and then to run the picket fence like that. They do this everywhere too. They run these fences up and down hills and valleys and all around, artwork in them and such. And they were so talented. However this happened, however they pulled off what they did was pretty impressive. As if they were all just skilled, or only the most skilled, or the only ones that ever built anything or did anything, is what it seems like. Only the most skilled, and they only went for the best of the best quality and everything. Even if it meant it was more dangerous, they went for the higher quality, the best way to do something. Even if it meant it was dangerous, that wouldn't matter. They would just take that into consideration and not be stupid. Here's some more of these things in the sky. And I find a few of these things strange. These are not scratches on the photograph or anything, those black things, and they seem to have shadows. They seem to be a lighter color. If you look towards the top of each one of these two here, you can kind of see just at the very top of each one of these dots, It looks a little lighter, like there's some shadow work on the bottom ends of these. I don't know. Could those be like a fleet of balloons? I don't know. Or are they birds? They could be birds too. But these aren't birds, baby. What are these? What the fuck is that? This big mushroom building out steam. White steam, queen steam. This big mushroom. It's not a water tower. It looks like one, but it's not. These might be water towers. One of those might be. What is this huge stack? That's enormous. That's enormous. And these are big too. Those are pretty damn big. They're way back there. Across the block. These buildings look about 300 years old. 300 years old. You gotta be kidding me. What is the deal? What is that? Anybody know what that is? That's in Keithsburg, Illinois, and that city's built out right in the mud. Oh, horse stables here. So they had horses, they had horse-drawn carriages and all that. Steamboat right there, it's running. That may be Mr. Bossy's ride right there. This one's running. I think it's cool to see that though. Shed right. Look at this, right on the water's edge. You don't do this in a new land that you don't even know well. You don't know what types of weather you're going to get, what types of conditions you'll go through. You don't know what's going to happen to the soil, being this close to the water, but how fast the water rises and all that. You don't do this unless you know what you're doing and you know the land very well too. You have to know the lands well and what you're doing. And if you know how to build houses like this, structures like any of these, then you know also where to build one and where not to build one. And typically you wouldn't do this if you're in a new land, in lands you don't know, next to a river you don't know its behavior. You don't do that. But they did. So that tells me that no, they didn't. Somebody else did who knew what they were doing and knew the lands very well because they pulled it off perfectly. That's what I'm saying. Sorry. Word vomit, but that's what it is. Forest looks about the same as today's forest over here. Same height as today's forest. Other forests in other areas look like saplings. Was this more log damage? Logs. There's logs everywhere. Yeah, logs floating everywhere down the river. This whole river was a log-ridden mess. I'm not kidding you. A log-ridden mess. They had cleaned up a lot of it. There's some shots in here of them cleaning it up. What is that? Some huge vessel in the water right there. That's not a steamboat. I don't know what the hell that is even. That's almost eerie. It's so techy looking. What is that? In the water anyway. The bluffs are all the same height all the way across. The buildings look about, I see it, put a ticket of 500 on those puppies right there. I put about 500 years on those puppies right there. Given the sun-bleached condition of the wood, I'd say 500. And these bluffs, oh, what's that? Okay, yeah, this stuff is all damaged right there. See this stuff stacked up here? It's all damaged and collapsed, whatever it was. And the bluffs in the background are all the same height, all the way across. Those trees are kind of young right there. This is Rapid City, Illinois. Trees look very young over here compared to Keithsburg, wherever that is. And some serious machinery. That bluff is built out with buildings everywhere. You see, because it's landscaped all in between all of these. That's what the white is. It's snow. And each area where there's snow, that means it's landscaped out there. There's land that's been landscaped. Otherwise, you just see gray like the trees if it was just forest. But that looks pretty old. It's supposed to be. Now, I think one of these cities in Illinois was said to have been established in the 1830s, but still, this don't look like not even a 50-year-old city. Those look like I said, 500 years old to me. And I'm not even kidding. They look like 500-year-old buildings to me. And the Indians allowed this to happen on the waters. Oh, here's the lower lock. Here's the next lock. It looks kind of similar building in the middle, kind of right there. Kind of. Oh, here's the boat I was talking about, like a little pontoon-sized steam paddler. Look at that. See a paddler? Pontoon-sized. The houseboat and a barge. Another one of those things. And here's those. This will indicate where the gate is. There's a gate right there. That's what this is. Indicates where the gates are. Now we know that. Kind of cool. When you start to realize what the stuff is, and then you get to knowing what the certain stuff is. Here's the power lines going through. There's the conduit. And there's some radio antennas on the buildings. And you ain't kidding. Look at the brickwork on that. It's beautiful. On the frames. And then on the soffit, the fascia. Nice little chimney there too, with a little vent up on top. The bluffs being the star of the show are flat and level across at the edge of the water. This is Des Moines again. Same thing in every city, same thing everywhere. In this whole area. This is how it was constructed, the infrastructure. And it's infrastructure. This is all part of the design. I'm not saying built by hands, no way. That'd be ridiculous. Because this is the entire world we're talking about. Not just what you see in the photographs. These are just good examples. And old ones at that. See the shape of the piers? They're all fancy and such. And exactly, everything they did was exactly how it was supposed to be. It was always done exactly the best way it could possibly be relative to its location and everything taken into consideration. They always did it. They only did stuff that way. It was done whatever the best way possible was, given the circumstances. So that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what it looks like to me. That's why we see such subtle differences and all this different stuff, because it was done exactly perfect for where it is. Like, if there was to be a bridge here that was to be the best bridge you can make, it has to be done this way. And that's what I see in the old world and how they did things. They did things exactly the best way it could be. The most efficient, the highest quality in materials, and the most effective overall. Again, these little vents indicate machinery inside that needs to be vented off. And that's likely where the next master would be, the next lockmaster, or the locksman downriver. This is the lower lock, so the next thing out of here, it leaves and goes to Davenport. Next will be the next lock system you'd run into after Des Moines. Oh, these machine shops are pretty cool. I love these. We have some shops like this too in Minneapolis and St. Paul that still exist and are abandoned and repurposed and whatnot. But look at these are spaghetti wires. Those will be all different kinds of things. Like, you'll have like telephone, electricity, telegraph, what have you, in those. And then all the wheels turning and spinning, the gears spinning. That's how their machinery was, and their machinery was always very much clean, energy driven, mechanical driven, and you could see that mechanical function of it working. You could always see the mechanical workings of the machinery at work, functioning and turning, the gears turning, the belts pulling and turning, and the pistons pumping. You could always see that stuff because it was always open and exposed. So you could see if something was going wrong, what was failing, and then it was always made so that you could service it or replace it. That's how they did things in a very effective and efficient way. And these are all, so there's 8 of these suckers, there's 10 of these suckers. There's 4 big ones here, 2 smaller ones in the middle, and 4 more big ones. And look at these. They have like a stone facade, beautiful masonry frame. See, not like hewn stone either. I don't know what they made this stuff out of, or how they did this. That stuff that they render on the outsides of the buildings that they could like shape and make statues and decorative stuff into and such. I don't know that it seems like the same stuff as like bricks are made of almost. Is what it looks like, but sometimes it's more like a granity type look to it. And they're cutting up buildings. Look at this, they're cutting up buildings. Here's your mortar joints here, and you ain't kidding. Yeah, they're cutting up buildings. Even these are masonry, not wood. Those are masonry. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, they're masonry because this is an iron rod going through them, and it's been bent. That's been bent. It takes a pipe bender to do that, which is a pretty serious piece of equipment. Rather, it takes a pretty serious piece of equipment to bend big iron poles like this. There's a special thing just for the job. It ain't cheap either. I don't know what these are. These must be like, these wheels turn. They must be like, I don't know if they're for some machine shop. So I don't know what those would be. And the power lines going every which way. There's more there. I don't know where those go to. Oh, look at this. It has like one sticking out this way. Is that broken, or is that just... I don't think it's broken. They're all pretty tight to it. They're all pretty tight. I don't know. Maybe it could be damaged. I don't know. No. I've seen these before. Their telephone wires were like that too. Like the last video I showed you, there was that one tall, that really ornate iron one that we were looking at. It was a telephone pole. And they would just like, the wires would go like every which direction around that top, that circle on the top. The wires would go every which way. Martin from the Flat Earth British, excuse me, channel, Flat Earth British. He did some shows where he was showing some of these like wires and electrical systems and around the world and such. He showed some great examples of spaghetti wires. That's what they call these, spaghetti wires. And yeah, they did this. Where they had these wires that would just go different ways from like a one pole. Seems dangerous, yes, but I mean, these folks knew what they were doing. These people in the old world. I don't think this is the doing of us. I think this is the doing of the old world. They did stuff like this everywhere. I just don't know about that piece hanging down. It's kind of weird. But yeah, even these. I mean, everything is the highest quality. I mean, these are not wood. These are. I think they're masonry. I can't really tell. I thought they were like octagonal. Maybe they are wood, but I don't know why you'd put an iron rod through wood though. I don't know why you'd put an iron. But I don't see a flange either though. Just like it kind of seamlessly goes into that post. But usually, I mean, everything is just the highest quality. You know. That bridge I don't think is there anymore. What's this, Marshall Bridge? That bridge is not there anymore. See the sides of the river. And we've pulled bricks out of these bluffs in Minneapolis and St. Paul, along these bluffs. Out of these, pulling bricks out of these walls. And they are walls made of brick. The videos are on the channel right now. And that's where they'll be. And the forests here look just as tall as they are today in Minneapolis. Some of these might be the municipal forest, which I know they say is an old growth forest, so, but that would be in St. Paul, not near Marshall. Oh wait, Marshall is St. Paul. St. Paul's on one side, Minneapolis is on the other. So some of that might be the municipal forest, but not all of it. I mean, a lot of that stuff looks the same as today. It's just weird how it doesn't seem to grow in some areas. In other areas, it seems to grow just fine. And those are pretty tall trees. Trips me, even these in the middle here. But this gives you a good idea, because these were not here in the old world in the middle of the pier. And that's how high these trees have gotten since then. In 1889, that's how high the trees have gotten since the event. There's a vessel out there, maybe a steam paddler. Buildings everywhere. Beautiful design. on the arch bridge. So that's how high the tree. So this would have been. So yeah, this event must not have been that long ago. Before this, this is how high the trees have gotten since. This has been sitting out here willy nilly. Nobody's obviously touched what's been just growing off of this since the event. I mean, that tells you it must have been really. That's very interesting. The late 1700s seems to be an interesting time period. Late 1700s, I'm seeing. It just shouts that time period is when something really went wrong or something is off. I mean, these don't even look like 100-year-old trees, or like 80 or whatever so trees, but they could be some of the taller ones here. But yeah, that tells me the event was not that long ago. Because those you would not allow that to happen in the pier and tear up the pier with the roots and tear up the bridge pier. Yeah, and have it collapse with a train going over it. That'd be smart. And here's the logs. See the logs floating everywhere. In Minneapolis, they're floating here. In Des Moines, they were floating around. In every city, the logs were everywhere. And I think that's why he got them in the shot too. I think this fellow knows. Mr. Henry Peter Bosley knew something. He was seeing it. You can't have done this trip and not have seen the artificial nature of our world and not have noticed it. That's all he's looking at. He's getting perfect shots of it too, as if he does see it. And he's got a compass darn position right there. See, it makes a compass, and this one is squared if you were to look at him this way. And he's holding a stick. He's got a spear there. Maybe he's doing some hunting. And then again, the elevated lands on top of at the water's edge. See, and in the distance, the bluffs at the start of the show, same height all the way across at the water's edge. See, they maintain that same height, even height, for the most part, all the way across. That just can't happen everywhere. That just cannot happen everywhere like this. And they'll say, "Oh, it's just a path of floods." No, it's not. No, it's not, because these are selective. They're not on every bank. Sometimes the river goes for a long ways without any bluffs. It just goes, just goes for some time, and then all of a sudden they appear again. It's not. No, it's not from any floods. The rivers are not natural. They are infrastructure, without a doubt. And you're talking this. Who did that with shovels then? Who did the land bar? This would have had to have been dug with shovels, mind you, on this side in the water and on this side in the water to construct this. Both sides would have had to have been dug and shaped out with shovels. This is the middle lock and the dry dock. Middle lock and dry dock in those neighborhoods here. There's people here, folks here. See how close these windows are to the roof? That's old world. That's one way you can tell these old houses, or even today still, houses that have those windows like really close to the soffit and fascia. We don't do that today anymore because we don't know how to do that properly. We typically build with windows a lot further down from the soffit and fascia today, but in the past they knew how to do this properly, where you could have a window like right up next to the frameworks were a lot more robust. Let's say the wood frames of the houses themselves were a lot more robust, so you could really play around with stuff like that. And you see that a lot in the old world. These old houses, they have windows right up on the roof line. That's one way you can tell today, old houses, old world. A lot of them are still around. And this is the middle lock. We saw the lower lock and the guard lock. And there's a dry dock here. I don't see it. But yeah, see, there's always a lot of build out by these locks. The guard lock will have something like a dam, usually a low head dam going across the river. I didn't see one in those shots, but there likely was. Buildings up there, and like water towers, and I don't know, maybe those are specks. I don't know, those are buildings out there, maybe some contamination on the shot. But the blast, star of the show, same height all the way across at the water's edge. Baby, who did this? There's machinery in there with the stack, and yet more facilities. And a big lock. Big gates here. It's like a slack water pond or something. I don't know what the middle lock does. I guess there's a dry dock here, but I don't see it. Maybe it's filled with water right now. There's some landscaping in there for something. Oh, there's houses up there. Yeah. Trees over here tower the houses too, and it's like a 2-story house towering over the houses. Middle lock again from another view. Very much like the first two, the guard lock and the lower lock. The middle lock is the same pretty much. Somebody lives right there, a little homestead. Another one here. Yeah, nice little farm too. They were farmers in the old world. The fence is damaged, extremely damaged. House is damaged, caved in. Cities that should be, 15 years old should not be looking like this. These are old world, all these structures are. And the Indians allowed it to happen, right? The Indians allowed them to shape out the entire river and everything. Yeah. Look at the bluffs, how level they are and perfect. They maintain that level height and they parallel the shoreline sea up above perfectly. And don't say it's a flood, baby. Don't say it was a flood and that's the old, that's where the water was. No, it's not. Because you know what happened during that flood? All the stones and the ice and the water were doing this. Because the rivers do this. The rivers do this. They snake and weave like this. North and south, east and west. Sometimes they twisty Q. And they're going like this. And you're telling me that those rocks never got spent and tired after just one turn? After just one turn, they just kept going. All the stones, all the ice and water staying tightly knit together, mind you, to keep this carving of this channel going. And and not only that, why don't we look at this quickly? Okay, look at here. You got tributaries as well coming off the main rivers, right? Tributaries, the smaller rivers coming off of the main one, right? And these are floods coming from where? The north. Here's the North America, or America. Here's Minnesota right here. This is where I am. And here's St. Louis, which is south of here. So if they say the Ice Age floods were traveling from up here, the glacial floods were coming from up here, the ice sheet or whatever they say, and it was flowing down this way, down the ball, is how it got its momentum, and it was going down towards the Gulf of Mexico. And wouldn't we expect that since these are floods raging this way, going from north to south, right? We have floods going this way. Oops, excuse me. There. Good. Well, never mind, I can't get that to work. But we got floods going down. We would expect that if anything's to branch off of these main waterways, that they'd be branching off downward, right? But these are all branching the opposite way. They're all branching upward. Look. These are floods going from north to south, right? If you were to turn this map upside down and twist it around, which if I had my phone I could do that right now. I don't know how to do it on this. Then it would look more accurate, but this is not right. Look. Think if you were to flip this map around and then these tributaries would look more like they kind of rolled off from the mainstream. It's kind of, as the water was coming down this way, they kind of rolled off from the main line. But not to mention, these rivers aren't just as they appear like this. They are snaking and weaving. Like, look here. Look here. Where's my thing? Where's my thing here? Okay, here's the river coming out of the Twin Cities, going north. So here's Minneapolis and St. Paul. And here's the river coming into St. Paul because it flows downward, right? It flows north to south. Except for when it starts, it actually goes north. It begins and it goes north, and then it goes around, and then it comes back, and then it goes south. It's weird. Nothing about it makes any sense. But look at it snaking and weaving. Look at it snaking and weaving. North and south, east and west. Look at this. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, doing all these things. See? And these are all, and look at how the waterway is equidistant on both sides of each bank around all these little breakups. See how it's maintaining perfect uniformity as it continues. And watch. It maintains these equidistant banks for 2,500 miles. 2,500 miles it continues. And this was one flood that did this, a flood. Now imagine standing right here before this all happened, and you were standing like right over here or something, okay? And you saw this flood come by, rushed by. Can you imagine that? This flood of water and stone and ice rushing by, and then just you're standing out here and then just carving this and leaving this behind. A flood. And none of that water is traveling off anywhere else. It's maintaining this tight path and doing this and doing this. And maintaining these equidistant banks on either side so it's the same width, and it continues on. It's doing twisty cues like that for, a facility right there, something supporting a facility. And, comes around this way. And it's maintaining this, right? And this is all stuff. See, there was build out in there. There was stuff in there. That's why this does this. It's breaking up here because there are buildings in here. See the imprints? There was stuff in here before that this was all supporting. That's why it breaks up and goes different ways. There was probably buildings in here that were being supported by it. See, there's an energy center right there. There's exactly what I'm saying. Exactly what I'm saying. So it's still there. XL is using it. There's an energy center right there, an energy plant, power plant. That's why the river breaks up right there. It's not natural. It's just, it breaks up because it needs to be used right there. The river needs to be used right there. Same here. There's going to be a facility using all these islands. There was stuff there before. There's a reason it does this. See how these are all like the same shape here? Each one comes through here. And there's a dam right there. Waterfall dam. And look at this. So the flood really, can you imagine? This is what I want. This is a better example. Imagine standing here during the flood, like in this field, and watching the flood rush by you, just roaring flood. And it just hangs a sweet bend right next to you right there. You're at that house in the yard right there. This was all a field, and you see this flood come through and just rip a bend. All the stones just hung a swift right. How fast would that flood have had to have been moving for this to happen? And none of those rocks have been out here, scattered about out here. Because wouldn't you think there would be stones and rocks coming off from every bend it made, from every huge bend that the flood made? Wouldn't you think stones would get tossed out this way, big heavy ones? Because mind you, this is a flood that is traveling from Minnesota to the Gulf of Mexico, all the way down here. You get what I'm saying? You think a flood can really do that and carve these out naturally? Any river. You've seen it happen before, right? You've seen a flood leave a river behind. Like a perfect river like this, like equidistant banks and all that. No. They're not natural. They're not natural. But he's snaking and weaving like that. Snaking and weaving, maintaining their equidistant path. No, they did not happen naturally. Look at the tributaries. This branches off so perfectly. Look at that. Oh, so what happened there then? What happened there with the flood? So uniform and so tight right there and so straight. They must have been going like at warp light speed, eh? Must have been going light speed floods. Look at these tributaries coming out doing the same thing, snaking and weaving the same. Look at this. And you think they're natural? These creeks and all this stuff. Look at that. All these tributaries and stuff. They're all part of it. They're all part of it. They're supporting something. It's a huge lake here that's being supported, a wetland. And they had wetlands too. Wetlands and look at how look at the lands, how they're shaped. There's people out here farming, and they're actually doing this like accordingly. They're cutting that's how their farms look. That's how they're landscaping their farms. See, for some reason, and they're making it look like that from above. That's all people's farms. See, and the green around them is forest, dense forests too, very dense forests. So people are actually out there They don't appear to have any crops out there really. Like just like dead crops, and they're doing weird shit like this. And look from above. Look what it looks like. See? I think this is agricultural. I think these were always farms. Because look, they're like ridges. These are how you can see up here the topography of it. They're all so uniform. It's like shading. It's like for shading. If this was agricultural, look at where the shade is right now on these sides of these like bluffs, these elevated structures. These are elevated, see? So you have shade on one side. You have shade in some areas all the time. Some areas will have more sun, and you can just kind of grow your crops accordingly to where they are on here. See how that works? It's perfect. It's the genius. It's a genius plan. And there's creeks and waterways going through it, supporting it. Little creeks and such like this. See, supporting all of it. See, perfectly equidistant banks. See, and just snaking and weaving, back and forth. See, supporting everything that's needed out here for these farmers. It's all part of this design. These aren't some like scarred pattern from the event. This is infrastructure. Look closer. Look at this in here. This is infrastructure. These are structures, not scars from the X Factor event. There's damaged infrastructure from the X Factor event, but this pattern is something that was desired, and likely for the shading effect it has for the crops out here, because it's all farms, and those have an extremely noticeable shading effect. You can see a shading effect, and that would be ideal for farming like this, lush in areas where there's more shade and such. See this? Some areas you'll always see shade if it's blocked from the right directions. And look at the right angle bends in these and all. I mean, come on. This is infrastructure, not scars. It does not appear to be scars to me. It appears to be, well, that looks like a scar, but it looks more like infrastructure for agricultural needs. What it looks like. It's just weird, isn't it? This Wisconsin, usually this is in Wisconsin that has stuff like this. Yeah, Wisconsin's all like that. I'll have to take you down to some of these areas. So they're not far from me. It's like a half hour out. And they are pretty cool. They're very bluffy looking when you're on the ground. They look like bluffs, like rolling hills. But they're actually like structures, see? Look how uniform these are. And the ridges, they're all the same height, each one of these. From up here, it looks like a natural Lichtenberg pattern, right? It looks natural, like a Lichtenberg figure. But when you come down close, they're structures, man. These are structures. You can really see. I've seen some better examples where you just see like them lined up like all the same, just for like hundreds of miles. I'll have to find some of them like this, like kind of like they're all the same. Like seeing here, just very strange. And the way that they are keeping this all up to date right now with the farming and such, so that it looks pretty from above. The only way you get that is because they're actually farming it still, and they're actually maintaining the landscape. They're all doing it. See, they've all cut so that it will look this way from up above. So why they're doing that and why all these people are participating in this is very interesting to me, because that's a lot of participants that seem to have no crops on these farms, but they're spending the money to landscape them, seemingly just for this purpose right here that we're seeing right now from above. I don't know. It's weird. Very weird, eh? Getting sidetracked again. Let's continue. The lower left's the middle lock, so we saw that. Here's the bluffs again, as if these are natural, all the same shape, flat level on top, sloped edge. Next one, there's two of them there. The one next to it, same thing. It's the next ridge. And it might be Bigfoot standing up there. Maybe Bigfoot. That's pretty damn tall right there. It's not a tree. It's just like a stub standing right there. Don't have a treetop. What would that be? Something's up there for sure. And it's bigger than a house. So maybe a tower. That city, again, the Indians had no problems with them doing this. You know, I mean, they had all the time in the world. They built a whole city here on the whole waterfront, right at the edge of it too, mind you, right at the edge of the water. They don't know these lands well, but they're going to do it anyway. This was a great spot to build right between the steep hill and between the water. Just be tightly squeezed. Yeah. Imagine what it looked like before the buildings were there. And then coming into here, it would have been like a forest, right? Because there's trees and everything. You probably wouldn't have been able to see very far around you. And to think this was a great spot to build a city, you know, what would you have seen? I mean, I just can't imagine that. If I take these houses away from the picture, this would not look like a good place for a city to me. It would just not. I'd rather try somewhere else. Like over there looks better, more flat. I don't know. And the bluffs back there, same thing. And some stepping up some of them right there. Billboards, huge billboards. See, they had billboards and all that stuff. I'm not kidding you. A lot of the billboards are the framework for them are theirs. I know where some old ones are in St. Paul. Some old road signage. Oh yeah, this is where the bluffs get kind of crazy. Again, evenly spaced. Tributaries and waterways between each one of these, between this one as well. And these picturesque villages. Church on top of the hill. Beautiful church too, white church. On top of the hill. I don't know what else that would be but a church on top of the hill. Making a statement like that. And not our doing. These oblong, rectangular, upright windows, those are old world. Every building has them. And there's a steamboat right there, some raft boats, maybe even a smaller one right there. That's really cool. Those might even be electric. There's no stack. There's no steam stack. Might be electric boats. Might have just been caught right there. Yeah, those might be electric boats. Got a gang member. He's got a squared arm position there in the arm. And you ain't kidding. Hiding the hand. This hand's showing. Got the hat on. Feet in the water. Buildings on the water. In the water as well. And they did it perfectly. You don't do that if you don't know these lands well. Or if you don't know the water well. I know it's a lake, but still. You don't know it well. You don't build it right there. You just don't. Especially a building that size. And you're going to risk it. You have no power tools. It's not easy to build a structure like this. Like today, it'd be a lot quicker. We could do this a lot quicker, but in these times, what they had, what they tell us they had, you wouldn't just take a risk like this. You'd just build it back there a little bit further, just a little bit further back. That's too close. Anybody would know that. But look at how perfect. And each one of these spaced out, all the same shape, all flat and level on top. Just give me a break. We've pulled bricks with stamps out of these bluffs in St. Paul and Minneapolis. Oh, a slough. We saw a slough already. Oh no, this is a mouth of a river. But again, the bluffs, star of the show, real clouds in the sky and such. Maybe that's something else. Yeah, real clouds. That's cool. See, the bluffs have sloped edge and they're flat and level on top, all the way across at the water's edge only. Appears to be a younger forest here, a little bit younger, more sparse. And this is the mouth of the Chippewa River, or the Ojibwa River. They say Chippewa way up north. That's what they say way up north. They got a different accent, but they're still the Ojibwas, or the Ojibways. They're all the same. Ojibwa, Chippewa, Ojibwe, all the same people. They speak the Algonquin language, and they were living in cities, not teepees. The teepees were their banishment. They were banished to the teepees. Here's the river, looking natural as all get out, right? Imagine the flood doing that, standing right there, and it just ripped by you and just left that behind, and you're standing there with your eyes hanging out their sockets, right? It just did this, and it made a perfect obtuse angle bend that way, right? Straight bend, straight right obtuse angle bend. You know, that's ridiculous. The perfect waterways like this, eh? Yeah. That's come on. That's too much. This is too much build out for a city in 1885, eh? Yeah. The mouth of the St. Croix River. Where is this, like Stillwater? What is this? And who dug out this land bar here too? A waterway. Eh? Steam paddlers everywhere. Everybody had a powered boat. Oh, so that's the same boat from over. So it is powered. It's a paddler, or just a paddler. No engine. What are they? Is it mechanical? Like they got some pedals or something? What do they do? Or maybe it is electric, an electric paddler. I don't know. There's no. Oh, there is a stack right there, dummy. But I don't know what that thing is though. Maybe a bear right there. Could be a bear. That could be a bear. Something there. Might be a bear. Or a bush. Forest is kind of high right here. These are tall trees, see? The bluffs in the far distance, you can barely see, but they're there. And they're the same height, same shape, always. That's in the shot for sure right there. That has a shadow on it. That could be an airship right there, or a bird, but that's definitely something in the sky. Has a shadow. Might be an airship. There's the church from this side, so we're seeing the same city from over here. There's the hill, all landscaped out. Couldn't see that before, but it's landscaped out. Well, this is a different city. This is different. Same thing though. Built out. You kidding me? Looking like 270 years old, these houses and buildings. Doors missing, windows busted out. The people they're all dead. They're all dead, let's face it. No steam billowing here in this city. They're all dead here, baby. I'm not kidding, there's not one boat. There's two boats, and they've been sitting there. They've been sitting there the whole time. Houses in the hillside, on the top of the hill, everywhere. Landscaped out everywhere. That's fascinating. Look at that. Look at the city. Oh my word. These are mansions. So we're looking at the city of, oh my God, Muscatine? I mean, obviously I've never heard of that, but I don't even think Des Moines should look like this, even today, even. What? Where the water towers, steams, chimney stacks, mansions, huge mansions. My goodness. And waterfront. Oh, this is all like wood. This is like a big. Give me a break. All landscaped out as if they have no tractors. This is all hand rotary tools. All this landscaping up there. All this landscape. You got a canal boat. There's still a canal boat swell. This must have been fun for these folks. Willy nilly. Everything's loose. Everybody's dead. You know. Huge tower back there. This city goes on for decades. Look at these right in the side of the bluffs. Like you ain't kidding. Look at this. Like you're not even kidding. Right in the middle of the bluff. The trackway. Oh, there's trains right there. Those are all train cars. Ton of them too. That's some serious trainage right there. So this is a pretty serious city. There's power lines. There's the whole 9 yards. You ain't kidding. You ain't kidding. There's power lines everywhere down there. And all over the place. Brick buildings in this. These are all brick in this city. Some cities are wood houses, wood buildings. Some they're brick. Most of them seem to be like brick. A lot of them, but not the small towns. The small towns were like wood. wood style cities, like the old world, old style cities, towns, small towns. That's old world style. That's what that is. Another vessel out here. Yeah, another vessel, a big paddler. Maybe a couple of speedboats next to it, a couple of jet skis here. Somebody's out there gardening, picking some cranberries. Oh, this is Buddy. So now they're posing. So you got the squared arm position, bent knee forward, same thing, high in the hands, squared arm position there. And he's bent over too, high in the hands. Give me a break. He almost fooled me there. That was in the cranberry bog. It looks like it. Looks just like a Minnesota cranberry bog. These forests are pretty much the same as today's. It's not looking much different. This is behind the dam. New growth of willows behind dam. So that's just new growth. They call this new growth. And I agree. Yet why is the new growth still the same today? It's not like way up here today. Like these trees, like they stop growing when they get like so high. They really they retard their growth. And they really start to slow down. Because these are not much higher than like I'd say like here, like today. A lot of these forests are like are the same. But they are thinner. You mean looking between, they're thin though, some of them. Today they're very dense. Very dense. Beautiful wood trestle all the way across. Gee whiz, look at the machinery. Steam billowing from every stack. There's power poles everywhere. Like you ain't kidding. Boats, like I don't even know what that is. Double decker paddler. Shed in the water, a watershed. A real watershed. A fascie over here. There's fascies right there. Fascie's weapon. Some sort of a big building out there in the bluff. The bluffs are all the same height, right? Structures on top of them and inside of them, landscaped out all the way across. Little things here. Power posts in the distance behind there, see? And this is the year in 1891. And yeah. Why not today? Why not today anymore? These are pretty. Why not these today? Hey, why not these today? Oh, this is the wood, the trees. Oh, they cut. Oh, look at the power lines too. Look at the power lines here. Oh, holy smokes! Hey. Looks just like today does. The old world does not look much different than our world does, like our modern world. People don't. I think people come into the research and they still get this idea. It's hard to really shed that idea that the old world was, like they told us it was. It's hard to shed all of that and to think that it was actually a modernized world, but a very advanced modern world rather, like ours. But it would have looked and smelled and sounded just like our world. Probably not smelled it so bad. I don't know. Maybe it did though. Depends on what they were doing. I don't know. They were doing something wrong. This does not happen when you're doing everything right. The whole entire world, every land mass gets touched. That don't happen if you're doing things right. And if you're doing things right, you don't have an accident. You don't have an accident like that. It'd be ridiculous. As if these people wouldn't have like surge protection as well. Why wouldn't they have surge protection in their power grids if they would have melted their power grid down? Why wouldn't they have had any type of protection for any type of back surging into their? And then what overloaded though? I don't get it. I don't get it. It looks like to me something just crazy happened, like creator level, God level, happened here. People weren't acting right, and just it was it. That was it, because every landmass got touched. I mean everything. And I know they say that the bricks were part of the buildings, but I don't know. I try to see it. I try to find it. I look for it. I didn't see it. That's a beautiful dam, though. Beautiful. Oh, that's the trestle, isn't it? That's the trestle. It's a dock bridge. See, that bridge will swing out, or it's a swing bridge of some kind. Look at that. It's just perfect. Everything perfect about these people. But I'm just, yeah, I'm confused. I'm confused about what we're looking at. More and more, the more I look into this and the more I think about it, the more confused I don't mind that. I like that. I become more confused because then you start looking for different stuff and you come across other answers and you find the answer you were looking for later. And it just kind of works that way. But a huge stack there, big buildings, and yeah, I don't know. I don't know. And that's why it's hard for people to wrap or to get into this research, because it's like, okay, first of all, you see the evidence and you're like, okay, that's strange, that's okay, but then you're thinking, okay, what happened then? What happened? Well, what do you mean what happened? Well, what happened was, okay, it's either, here's like the two main ways people go. It's either it's going to be either one of them, but it's something creator level. It's God did something. The people didn't act right. They were instructed how to proceed in this world. They didn't do so as was instructed, and they suffered because of that. That's one idea. That's been documented. That's been recorded. That's the story, and that story tends to always parallel with every end of this research, correlate with all of our findings and answers many questions. So that's very compelling. However, it's just basically saying God did it. God did it. And that's hard for some people because they're just like, what do you mean God did it? What does that mean? And then the other way is that then the other popular route is that they were powering the bricks somehow, or they're powering the buildings in this world via the bricks. Yet there's no evidence for it. There's no evidence for any of that happening or how it worked or anything. But there's that, and that they overloaded their power grid system somehow without having any type of backup. They completely left themselves vulnerable. They were very advanced people, but left themselves completely vulnerable to destroying themselves and completely wiping themselves out nearly off the face of the world. And that they overloaded themselves with energy. And that's the other. So those are both like, so it's either God or this other crazy way that has really no evidence. But it looks like that's what happened though. The evidence that we have that is real evidence, the melted tangible material, the evidence looks to be like struck by electricity or like having suffered electrical heat damage of some kind. But it's just difficult for people to jump on board with either one of those ideas, right? It was either just God. If you haven't read up on the Bible or anything like that, then that's going to be a tough one to swallow. Because then you'll just have no knowledge. You won't know about you won't understand it, But then the other route being, or it's this, which we really have no evidence for, it just looks like it, looks like it may have been that is what happened, And that's what turns people off to this. So we have to find a way to get people turned on to it. And a good way for that is the way that the Nest goes about it, to get into the evidence first. But then the questions do start coming pretty quickly after that. I think we notice, like, we do get those people we can get people into this. We do. We get people interested because it's just so. Look at the evidence. What does this evidence say to you? We have real evidence. We go on the ground. I'm a ground researcher. I get live evidence on the ground. I'm not, there's no way for me to alter anything here. I'm not just, showing pictures like I am now. But even this, I've sourced it. You can go back and find it. You can even go see this collection somewhere, I think. But yeah, it's just, that's what I think is the problem, is that you see the evidence and you're intrigued, but then the questions start coming immediately. And then you're like, okay, what happened? And then to hear that it's either God or it's just this outlandish idea that we have no evidence for, and it's only just by sight that the damage appears to be electrical. That's why we think this. Well, and that we have stuff on the buildings that look to be electrical, and that the cities seem to be like they're laid out on circuit board types of layouts. But then it could be vice versa. It could be that circuit boards were modeled off of the city's infrastructural design. It could be that way. It could be the other way around. It could be the other way. Circuit boards were designed off of nearly perfect infrastructural design that worked perfectly. That would also work very well in a digital technological application. It could also be just that. So it may not be that the cities look like circuit boards. It could be that the circuit boards look like cities. So that's why it's tough. These arguments, that's tough. So we have to start finding and backing up these ideas so we can get more people into the research and into this, because the evidence is intriguing to pretty much anybody that would see it, that looks at it. But it's just those questions can really turn someone off so fast when they hear what our ideas are that we're looking at, which are very much plausible. Both of them are very plausible. I mean, the melted circuit board thing is plausible. The evidence does appear to look like that. It's just that we don't find any solid evidence for it. We don't find any solid evidence for that. We don't find, and then for the God thing, people will say, well, then you're believing something that's just faith-based, and then you're not. There's no evidence for that at all. So then people are saying that, and they're not understanding that end of it and how you can have confirmation through faith. But so it's just, that's where we're at. We're at a kind of a circus point in this research where it's just like the ideas we have, which are good, and it's probably likely going to be one or the other, turn people off. The ideas we have turn people off. They just sound crazy. But they sound crazy because we've been lied to about such simple, stupid things. They lied to us about stuff that they shouldn't have lied to us about, stupid stuff. So, which apply to like many other things in our lives. To lie about stone will apply to many things in your life that stone is associated with. It will affect all that now. If you don't understand what the stone is, now it's going to affect everything in your life that involves stone, or where stone is associated with it, because you don't have the right idea of what it is. Even you're mistaken on it, so something can go wrong, right? And that's what they've done. They put us in danger, really. They put us in schools. They put us in schools with all these, these viruses, and they release all these viruses to get us everybody sick. Everybody's sick. They had head cold and stuff. Get your yearly head colds, but the line of the children. It's so weird. It's so weird, but they're doing it in such a way where they're not really telling you that nobody ever said that what the school is telling you is the truth. The school never says, everything that you will learn here is the absolute truth, or what we know to be the truth as far as we are concerned, and they don't say that. There's no. I mean, maybe there is a pamphlet or that no one reads, but small print somewhere. But no one ever makes it clear that what we're telling you is the truth here at school. We're just telling you maybe just a story. Maybe it's just, maybe we're there for story time. But then again, they make you feel like that if you're not in school, then arrest the kid. The kid's not in school, then arrest him. And then parents think that their kids are going to get arrested if they want to homeschool them, or they're not at school. It's going to be weird. They have people feeling weird about stuff. That should be normal. I'm talking too much again. But I think about this stuff, it's a mess they put us in. And it's a dangerous mess, but really, it's kind of on us, though, because no one ever said, we're just kind of just going to school because everybody else is. And then we're going somewhere where we don't even know if what they're saying is true. They never said it was going to be true or not. They never said that. So is it really on them for, yeah, it is kind of, because they're acting like it's, they imply, or they, that what they're telling is the truth, or what they are teaching is what they believe is the truth, but they're not saying that really. I mean, in the setting they are, like in the classroom they might be, but really overall they're not. As a body, they're not saying that we're here giving the truth to children. We're just here for a place for them to go while you guys work and make money to feed them. Right? Think about this stuff. Yet we still will send them to school tomorrow, right? If I had one, I wouldn't. They wouldn't have been to school. Hell no. Hell no. Just get a virus, bring home a head cold. Yeah, right. Kidding me? Bring a head cold home or not? I'd say not. Thank you. Your pink eye and all that jazz. No, thank you. Bless, same height all the way. What was the last shot? What were we looking at? Some wood operations and stuff? Some logging? Yeah, see, here's the logging. See, they've organized it here. See how they float the logs and all they're organized? Oh, but look down there. Look down there, the mess. They were all stacked up too. See? Look at the mess. And I'm telling you, hordes of these things must have broke loose. They were all on the river's edge like this and fell into the river, and they just went scattered about and floated all the way down to Missouri. Probably down to the Gulf, because I've seen photographs now, not just in this set, but elsewhere, where the river is just full of logs, just littered everywhere. And it's because of places like this, like entire operations like this dumped into the river. This one seemed to have been all right. Most of the damage is like here, but yeah, not sure if they're out. Yeah, they're operating. They got steam billowing. Beautiful buildings back there. Beautiful buildings and trestles and gates and all this and that. See how organized this is. And how smart that is. This was a major highway in the past. That gate just swung, but they were, moving stuff, moving goods, barges, floating logs down the rivers. People. They were using the waters for renewable energy. The sun renews this process every day. It's renewable energy. It's clean energy. It's a lot of energy too, hydropower. When you're talking pumping, you can pump and store up to for decades. Decades. And these folks had the means to store lots of energy. That's why I don't understand how they would have overloaded or gotten such a surge of energy from where is what gets me. What the hell was this event? I tend to lean more towards the God side because of so many parallels in prophecies and prophecies being fulfilled and all that on top of it, and just my own personal experiences with such. But it still is very intriguing when I see things that look like a lightning bolt went through the side of a building, and left its mark, or and stuff like that. It really does twist my mind. But maybe God used electricity. Maybe He struck this world with an electric force that was so powerful it left it in a lake of fire. I don't know. I know the heat is coming from the bottom in most situations. The heat's coming from the bottom. I've seen it time and time again, all around the Twin Cities and elsewhere in the world. That heat's coming from down below. I don't know. And it does appear to be a force, not like weapons or like stuff being struck. It looks to be like a force, an internal force, a frequency, if you will, or a plasmic force or something. Some sort of a powerful pulse or something. But where would it have come from? Well, that's why I read into these stories and I read into stuff, because it's very much compelling what we find in the stories and what's happening today. The bluffs are all the same height all the way across, see? And the same height and the same shape at the water's edge. Contain the water in, can't go willy-nilly in a flood. It will drain back and stay in the waterway, in the course of action. This one, the bluffs, same thing at the water's edge. Trestle across the entire river. These will mark a gate that swings open, and that's a little yacht steamer right there, in a big house or a big building. I mean, maybe a wood mill or something. Little islands, like we're all for something. Some of these might just be there to regulate flow going into these areas. Also, they may not have even had like a building or something on them. They may have just been a part of this design just to help regulate flow in this part of the river. You gotta think that way too, because that's what a lot of these things are doing. They control flow and how fast it will go. And that might be why they're so high and so steep, because they might be that way so that they can continue to regulate flow. Even when the water is going so high, they will continue to regulate flow until it goes like way high, up here, but that they can continue during high water conditions. You see, makes some sense. That might be why they're so high. That's why they are what they use today to regulate near dams. That's why they have them sticking up so high, is because the water level. They're built according to where the water level will rise. And all this stuff is just damaged stuff. Wood split, broken open. All these are still sticking out. It's all wood. Whatever that was is damaged. It might have been something like this even. I don't know. It looks a little flimsier though. Oh, is that metal? What are those? That's wood, right? I thought it was wood. I think it's wood. Yeah, that's wood. Shiny though. About 10,000 tracks down there. Disappearing. Some of these tracks were concrete, These weren't all wood. Some of these in the old world were concrete. These runners here were concrete. Not the runners, what do you call these? I forget what you call those. Yeah, I saw some examples of some concrete ones of these. And also, I think they were either, what were those? I think they're just iron, but yeah, there's different styles of these too, not just wood. Like there's concrete, and there's also like metal ones too. I think they're metal. Yeah. Oh, that looks like, yeah, Minneapolis here. That's the VA. Steamboat landing. Oh, the landing. Yeah, that's the VA then. Probably a big tunnel right there going in. Because there's tons of tunnelage and entrances that go into these bluffs. These risen bluffs here, see this level all the way across the entire river, both sides. We've pulled bricks from these walls, these brickened walls. These bluffs are made of brick. We have pulled stamps from bricks in these walls. Bricks sticking in these are still in these walls right now, as we speak. Everything's a mess too. This is all debris from that event, scattered about all along the shorelines. Look at this. Everywhere, this debris and stuff. Those are very close to the water too, and they're on an island. Those are houses. They're on an island too. There's a bridge back there. That would have been blotted out. That might be the Marshall Bridge that we saw in the other shot, I'm pretty sure. There's a tower right there, some steeple or something. Trees look pretty young, very young right here. Minneapolis. Dry dock. Oh, the other side of the other one? Yeah, so this is the same, what we were looking at. There's that machine. That is an engine right there. There's some kind of something, an engine or something. Looks like an engine. Marine engine, maybe? I don't know. Steam engine. And that's pretty cool. And we were looking at this from the other side before. This little building overhangs in that corner, remember? All that beautiful work and that woodwork on the other side. So there's the dry dock. It was on this side. We couldn't see it. There's the dry dock. Big wheels and chains right there. And a couple of power lines going into this. A couple of power lines. Looks like everything was powered up. I mean, everything was. Again, just the bluffs, star of the show, see? Background, same height, water's edge, flat level. You ain't kidding. Built out in the river for logging operations. That goes across right there, the river. These two. It's all built out in the water. These straight bars. They would call them flats and sandbars today. They're infrastructure. Yeah. And here it goes. These perfect equidistant banks, snaking and weaving on its way out, snaking and weaving like back and forth. And a flood did that. And the rocks and stones didn't tumble out, on this bend, didn't tumble out that way. They maintained and stuck tight. They stuck together. They stuck together, the ice and the stones and the water. And they just, every bend, all the way until they hit the Gulf. So there should be a lot of rocks down there in the Gulf of Mexico. Big ones right at the mouth, right, of the delta. There should be a lot. There should be a lot of rocks, big rocks down there in Louisiana. Look at the edge of see how straight this is? This is all, yeah, it looks like might be dry. Maybe the water is low, or maybe it's flooded out. I don't know. It might be flooded, or it might be low water conditions. But see how it's all built out in the water. The bluffs in the background, all the way across perfectly. And that's the river going around that way. That's why it goes that way. See, flat and level. In every city that we've seen so far. And the Indians have you seen any teepees anywhere or anything like that suggests the Indians were around causing any trouble, right? Or that these folks were having, problems with the Indians. It seems like they were just doing their own thing here. They were just fine. The house way up there, sure. Sure, certainly. Big brick buildings. They're probably brewing something here, probably a brewery. All the best beer of today comes out of the old world, and I'm not kidding. However, New Glarus in Wisconsin, they're pretty damn good. New Glarus, they're a new company, and they do make some pretty fine brews, I must say. I like the German style, unfiltered, barges in the water and a steam paddler. It's like a pontoon. Everything's beautiful here. Everything's so beautiful. The way that the houses all face the same direction, so that the sun hits them all the same way. This is all planned out. Not just people. He wanted to build there. He wanted to build here. So no. This was all designed. It all had to be one certain way so that it would be pleasing to the eye, for one. It wouldn't be so messy and jumbled up, Look at the bluffs. You gotta be kidding me if you still think they're natural. With these sloped edges, flat and level on top, only at the water's edge, containing the water in, so it can't travel off willy-nilly and go soak somewhere else. It'll run back in the course. He's got a squared arm position there, high in the hand, got a bent knee slightly bent forward, and he's got a dog. And he's got some sort of a malnourished dog with him. That's unfortunately. And this is the same thing. At the water's edge. Built out in the background, always. Houses, buildings. How they get their groceries? Do they have to farm right here? Yes. There's probably a village in that valley right there. But still. There's logs everywhere. There's a mess. And cut that out. It's a mess. I know what a mess is when I see one. Here's where now this guy's sitting out on the logs. They're actually gathering the logs in the shot. Got a really, really, really cool raft boat here. Look at this sucker. That's cool. Look at the veranda. Look at the deck. These are balustrade railings on both on top and bottom. And all sorts of... These can't all be periscopes. I get maybe one of them might be the periscope, but one has to be a radio receiver. One has to be something else for communications and all that. Very cool compass though. I like the compass on top. This is all a compass right here. Very fancy and ornate compass. See, right here. That's cool. And he's sitting on a log. Yeah. You'll see it in the shot, the next shot, what they're doing a little bit better. I think the next shot. See, they got ropes tied on all these logs. They're gathering them, and they got these ropes. Here's his boat. This is this guy's boat. Squared arm position, bent knee forward. Knee. That arm is squared as well. The leg is very squared. He's posed up. This is a gang member. He's got a canal boat there. And he's out in the logs sitting on one. But yeah, they're tying him off so they can float them downriver. So they're cleaning him up. And they're cleaning him up too. This was the mess they're cleaning up. It's not their logging operation. There's nobody here with them. They're just cleaning it up. See the ropes all around these? And ropes crisscrossed all around, and they got ropes to this, and they're gonna push or pull it. Either or, they can do both. With a raft boat or with a tugboat. Look at that paddle. Look at that paddle on the back. And here's where he was sitting. So there's one of their lifeboats over there. There's one of the little lifeboats there. And there's the other lifeboat. And there's where he was sitting, was right there. On that log. Either that one or that one. One of these two sideways logs he was sitting on. Maybe this one. This stack here needs a little more coal. They're not burning enough here. Gotta get it a bit hotter here on this one. Full steam ahead, baby. And look at the bluffs in the background, the star of the show, eh? You see this? Waboom, baby. Waboom. All the same height. All the same size, same shape. Evenly spaced out and at the water's edge. And it's supposed to be an accident. Or natural. And not the infrastructure. Now this is a slough if I ever saw one. What's this? Yeah, Coon Slough. Look at that. Big slough, agricultural, and look. Yeah, who dug this out with shovels? Who dug the river out, first of all? All the rivers. All of them. Look at this arrow straight. You see? That's a square pond that has a right angle bending canal going into it. Square pond over there, square ponds back here. And there's a meandering waterway that goes out this way. Makes like 4 right angle bends. And you ain't kidding. Look at that. Steam paddler down there. Okay. Gang member on the right. Just hide in the hand, baby. Hat in the head. Squared leg position. Bluffs in the background. Star of the show. Sun's on the upper, maybe about 10 in the morning, maybe. Clouds in the sky. Real cloud structure. Nice day. And sun's right up here. Overhead. Bright morning, it looks like. Late morning. Yeah, all the same. You see the bluffs back there, even way back at the edge of the slough, and you can see the ridges. I'm not sure how well you'll be able to see them, but I can see the ridges of different ones, like evenly spaced out. Barely make them out, but you see that there. And then what is this? Oh, this now is ruins in the water already. Ruins in the water already, so it should be a brand new city. Oh, this is one of the cities I think that was established in 1830s, I think. Rock Island, Illinois. But still, there shouldn't be ruins in the water. There shouldn't be ruins in 1891 in a city that was just established in 1830. Look at the bluffs, same height, trees damaged. That's either tornado. Yeah, that's probably tornado damage, maybe. That looks like tornado damage. But still, trees damaged. These piers are damaged. One there. There's one identical to it way back over there. Something right there too. I don't know what that is. There's debris everywhere. This is like stuff. People's shit everywhere. And that tree, yeah, that's tornado damage for certain. Whole limbs are snapped, see? Whole limbs are snapped. So they saw a twister in here. They see a lot of them there. Illinois and Iowa. We see them here in Minnesota too. Oh, another slough. I love the sloughs. Look at these. I know they're all agricultural. Yes, they are. Agricultural. Look at that. Big. This one's happening here. This one is busy. I am liking this. I would have loved to see this in action. What was happening here? I would have loved to see the boats moving through here and the people, what they were doing. How much shrubbery would have been grown up here? How much would it have been here? Look at the land bar. Yeah, shovels. This is shovel era. 1885, Crooked Slough. Look at the waterways coming in and out every which way. And there's there's a waterway coming right angles out that way. All types of square ponds in here, and you ain't kidding. And round ponds back there. The bluffs all the same height, the edge of the slough, all the way across. Same height here, same shape here. And it's just naturally happening that way, eh? Come on. Something ain't right here. Dakota. Dakota, Dakota. Picturesque village. Look at the... And this is... Now get this. Look at that. Do you see that? These rolling hills. Two churches right next to each other, eh? Likely the Catholic and the Protestant. Likely. But look at the trestle first. The forest is very high forest. That's a pretty healthy forest. Trees over here seem kind of young. But the trestle. Follow the train track. Follow that train track. And where does it go? Right in the middle between the top of this terrace and between from the shoreline to the top of the terrace. We have the track right in the middle here. So with that being there, if there was to be a train traveling right here with its smoke going behind, right here, right in the middle there, how picturesque that view would be. With these churches in the foreground, the city just continuing on in the distance, beautifully organized, and with the train right there with the smoke billowing right in the middle there, how picturesque that would be from across the lake. Well, that was the idea in the design of the city. That's what they were going for. That's what was intended. A picturesque view of this village when you came upon it. And you would see its workings and the trains coming through here. How pretty that would be. That's exactly what they were going for. It was not an accident. And no, these 1800s folks did not do that. They weren't doing artwork while they were out there exploring the new land. Give me a break. Doing artwork like that. Arts and crafts. Bent knee forward. Gang member, hand on the head. Again, with these small scale castle mounds, melted castle mounds with the village on the bottom, right? Looking 100 years old. This one looks empty, eerily empty. Ain't a person around. Power lines everywhere. Power lines here, and power lines there. Houses look 250 years old, maybe even 300 years old. I wouldn't be afraid to put 300 on these. And look at the picket fences are perfect, but they're damaged or wavy, but they're everywhere. Look through this whole village. These beautiful, perfect picket fences. Look at that. Every post perfectly evenly spaced. And mind you, they can go up and down mounds like this if they wanted to. They can go up and down these with these picket fences. It did not matter. Some up there that are damaged. They go all the way down this way, the fence. It's really damaged though, we can see it. These look like they've had some issues. Look at that, this one's buried. There was a landslide here. This is buried. This one is buried. There's a trestle right there. This is buried. These are at cock angles too. They've slid down with the material. The mud slid down the mountain. They slid with it. Look at that. This one's like, yeah, come on. Yeah, right. That's a land. These are damaged. They're all dead. That's what I'm getting at. They're all dead here. How eerie that would be to come upon a city and they're all dead. Nobody's there. Or just their bodies in these buildings. Somebody had to do it. There was that person those people who did this. It might even be these people right here doing it. Who had to come to these cities. Maybe that's why he came out to these villages. Maybe they hadn't reached these cities yet. Maybe they just had to get the people out. I don't know. I don't know. I think that there was some time afterwards, a little bit of time to. Man, I don't know what would have happened after that event. Like, how would you have. My goodness. You know, that's ridiculous. How would you have even done anything and not been very concerned about anybody you might run into afterwards if you survived it? Hey, whiz. And when did they stop being so concerned? I guess that would be after the Indian stuff, the fighting with the Indians and all that. And it still must be ongoing in other places that are seeing unrest. But it always ties into stuff that's being explained in those scriptures. It always has some sort of an answer to anything that we question. I'm just saying I won't be interested and compelled by that. Another village. Nice spot, eh? Tucked right between this, where there's always falling debris, rock slides and stuff falling off of this constantly. They do in St. Paul too all the time. They're always crumbling down, sliding down, landslides and stuff. But to build a town tucked between the water and there, no, I don't think so. Not a smart idea. It looks like maybe even some land gave away right here and maybe fell in the water. Yeah, there's only one house left out here. Like all his neighbors might be floating downriver. Jim neighbors might be floating downriver here. See? What are these? Little slick little UFOs right there. What are these? Two little UFOs right there. Little slick little things right. What are those? Are those Jim neighbors floating downriver? I don't know. Like little vehicles, like little seamless little vehicles here. Little alien vehicles. Little alien vehicles, baby. Little alien vehicles. Tell you what, if any aliens wanna, if any aliens wanna help us, get some bird's eye shots, that'd be wonderful. If there are any aliens watching, we could use the help. Some shots from above. Get some shots from above. These almost look. I'm trying to look at this. This almost looks like this has been like blown up. Like, see how sparse the trees are on this? Kind of this like sickweed, almost damaged looking. Like, what's that place in Russia where the trees all blew down? It reminds me of that place. You know that they say a comet or something, or meteorite hit the ground, the earth. But it was like some sort of a experiment, I think. But it was like something like this, and all the hillside, all the trees blew down. They were all messed up. This kind of looks the same. That don't look right. Does that look kind of weird, the way the trees are? Like sparsely, like, I don't know. I get they're young, but I'm just trying to think, are these just literally just scavengers that have just grown because nothing's touched us since the event? And this is what's grown up since? Because if that's so, really is not a whole lot of time it would have passed then. Since the event, if this is all the growth that's grown since the event on this structure, I mean, it's hard to say what it looked like before the event though. Were they earthen landworks structures, or were they actually like just the bricks that we see on the inside of them? I tend to think that they were partially earthen landwork structures as well. Some of them, they may have looked like they look today, like mounds of of land. I think there was a lot of structures that would have appeared like that, and then others that ended up looking like that. Also, many that ended up looking like that because they were melted down. But it seems like some structures were actually just like earthen land. There's a place, a waterworks structure in St. Paul that's an earthen pyramid, landworks pyramid. I'll have to show you that sometime. That's pretty cool. It's an old one too. I'll have to stop down there one of these days because I'm pretty sure that's an old one. There's an old tower there, an old water tower, and an old trench that they dug or something, or no, not a trench, a reservoir. And I'm pretty sure it's old world. I don't think it's anything they did recently, like they say. Not recently, like in the war. There's another swing gate. I'm just kind of talking about in my mind. Sorry, I don't mean to do that. Thinking out loud, that's what I do. Thinking out loud. Shut up, pants. Okay, I guess I'm doing some stuff in the sky there. Landscaping. The landscaping is just, I mean, good landscaping too. Good, very sharp edges here. Nice and clean edge around that. I don't see any stumps in there. Like, this is good work. Forests here don't tower the buildings like some of them do in the other shots. The trees are not much higher than the buildings. Very short they seem. Here, small trees, yeah. Well, that's kind of bigger there, but but still, overall, I mean, as far as the forest goes, it's a young forest. Either way, all of our forests are young. But it just puzzles me how some of them seem almost the same. There's an animal out there, like a horse, or something, a horse or a goat or some sheep or something. Probably a horse, just by giving it this one. But again, an empty city, buildings 340 years old, 340, 350. Around that. There's a horse out there. Bluffs, same height. Eagle Point, 1885. This is a logging operation, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, another logging operation. Boats. I don't know what kind of boat that is. If that's even a boat. It seems to be a pontoon with an open deck and like a house up there. Or is that a dock? But what are these on the sides? What are those? I don't get this. And then there's a couple of paddlers and some barges. And the logging operation has spilled. This may be one of the ones responsible for all the logs in the water because they're flowing right down into the water. Power lines, you ain't kidding. There's power lines here, there's power lines there. It's all made of wood. And here's the wall collapsed down, you see. We've pulled bricks from these bluff structures. We have pulled bricks out of here in St. Paul, Minneapolis. The videos are on my channel right now. Broken, damaged ladder. All these are cut logs. Just scattered about everywhere. Have fallen down from their containers and right up here. And very young, small trees over here. Very small. Oh my god, 2 hours, we're already up to the end. I didn't think I would make it to the end of these. Actually, I might be fooling myself. I think there's not. There might be more it's not showing. I think there's more that's not showing because it still has a space between here. That normally means there's still more tabs. Never mind. We'll get through it though. We'll get through it. I like some of these. These are. Now here's one that has some alteration, I think. Because I can see there's a build out back there. There's some strange vehicles right there that I wanted to see. Train cars and like a vehicle's right there. I don't know what that even is. They've skewed it too much. It's all fuzzy. And there's a flood too. Rock Island, high water condition, 1888. Power lines galore. Big brick buildings, brick masonry buildings. It says something up there. I see an O-N-O-N-O. O-N-O-Y. I don't know what that says. Perfect wood fences. Look at that fence. Oh, that's beautiful. Look how perfect that is. Sidewalks, curbs. Curbs don't really help for horse traffic, in 1888. They don't help for horse traffic. They help for cars, and they help for draining the water to the drainage, the sewage systems, but they don't really help for horse traffic and all that in these time periods. And they don't really tell us that they were plumbing like that until later. But it seems like in the early time periods they were curbed out and had sidewalks. This is all flooded out though. There's likely water in this building. Maybe it might be coming in. Yeah, it's pretty close up there. It might be in that building. Getting a drink right now. Trees are young. This shot. Trees are young. More logging stuff. So cool how they did stuff like this too. Even the folks afterwards, how they still had that ability to be so creative with just the means of like building stuff like this. And a lot of it could just be old world stuff, I think. But because this obviously is here, this old abandoned old world stuff, but you find cool stuff. And this is all perfectly done too. These are all like perfectly straight, perpendicular, each one of them, evenly spaced perfectly. Take all that into consideration. Are these folks really capable? These 1800s folks? No, they're not. Not from what we're told. These are projects and things that they wouldn't have taken on. Huge city, billowing steam, billowing. Oh, this is a site. What is this? Logging? Fort Madison. Black smoke, white steam. You ain't kidding. That's what the old world would have looked like. Lots of steam billowing from all these stacks and everywhere. Lots of steam and smoke billowing. Lots of noise, lots of trains. It would have been noisier. The old world would have been noisy. It's to some degree it would have been. It seems. Because I've been around some of those old buildings that they still use today, and when they're running them, man, they're noisy. Very noisy. And there was, all the stacks and all the chimneys would have been billowing, especially in the wintertime. Oh, I can't imagine what it would have looked like in the wintertime. Like over St. Paul, all the chimneys and stacks. Just, man. Cool, though. There's water towers back there. It is just built as far as the eye can see, and the bluffs are all the same height. Smoke and steam everywhere. Train tracks coming in, going out. All this is like wood. Lumberyard. Huge lumberyard. Capable lumberyard. My goodness. Where's the fort, though? Oh, there it is. So that looks like... If you were to tell me, like, that this was taken, like, last year, I'd believe it. That could be St. Paul today. There are areas where, like, most of the buildings are the old ones, and here it's shown like this for these water towers. I would buy it. I would buy that was last year. If it wasn't so like fuzzy looking, if you cleaned it up, which you could, I could easily buy that. Looking like that. Now, if you showed me this, maybe not that, but those houses back there. So modern, is what I'm saying. Modern, but in their way. Their way has a charm to it. The old world has a charm to it. Very advanced, but in a charming way. In a very mechanical, hands-on kind of way. but very advanced kind of way, you know? You know? Oh, here's Fort Snelling, a place we still have yet to visit, but this is a cool shot. It's bleached out. It's one of the ones I don't want you to see. They for certain washed this one out pretty good, but this power pole's in a weird spot way down there below this bridge they removed. They've since removed this bridge. And you can see that these are walls down here. Now you can't, this is all covered now with shrubs. All this whole lower wall section, you can't see any of this anymore. But in this shot, this is gold because now you can see these were walls. They are walls. See? All of these are walls. Today they look natural. They look very natural. They may have even demolished some of the stone, the walls. They may have like dynamited some of it because it looks like a limestone with a, irregular limestone, what they call an outcropping. Today, it's all shrubbed out. You can't see these straight edges. You can just see the top of it. The fort. That's kind of cool to see that. Building is that a houseboat down there? Yeah, the city's built out all the way back that way. The fort's it's a different fort. Different style of a fort, not your typical star fort, but it is a star fort. Look at this. Again, these bluffs evenly spaced, all the same height, same thing. Water's edge. City goes for, I mean, look at this. It goes on forever down there. Until it disappears. Power poles everywhere, big towers and stacks. It looks like, yeah. Look at about 300 years old again. Empty, looks dead. Everybody's dead. Strange amount of windows here. Lack of windows in this spot and this spot. Here. Spire back there. Landscaped out on the very steep grade. Landscaped out on the very steep grade. It says straight edge right there. So this was landscaped. That's landscaping when it's straight edge like that. Okay. On that 60, 70 degree. Come on. Okay, I think maybe 20 or so left. 20 or less, rather. Just came off the bong, so I think we're good to go now, baby. We're good to go now. A little bit hot right now. Yeah. We'll make it through this. Runt's jealousy is a strain. Some sort of a runt. It's all runts these days today, eh? Everything's a runt. But the runt's jealousy, that's alright, it's a good one. It puts you in a great place, but it's got kind of a funny aftertaste though. It's a bit garlicky in the smell too. A bit garlicky. You know. Got that gassy smell, but that it was almost a bit garlicky, you know. They're kind of going towards that right now. I'm not digging that garlicky thing, that little phase they're going through right now. It should be over soon, I hope. But some growers are going through that garlic phase right now, and I'm not digging it. I never was that type, you know, I'm not really all that impressed with all the crossbreeding going on right now. I think it's kind of ruining the whole fun, all the fun, you know, in it really. Some of you connoisseurs or growers might know what I'm talking about, but I don't know. And like some of these new strains that they're coming out with, you get like, 'cause you know, you had like your phenotypes. You always had like your Kush phenotypes. You know, they're more earthy, more like hash, like even spicy kind of smell and flavor. And you get like the skunk, you know, the pungent skunk ones, skunk phenotypes, or you get like the haze types, the fruity haze phenotypes, or the diesel-y gas ones, the gassy, almost, or even the cat piss ones are in that category, like the piss gassy ones. But then now they have like these new ones, and I don't like them. Like they're almost like, it's like a new phenotype. I call it the garbage phenotype, because they can literally smell like garbage. Like if you've been past a really like ripe dumpster before, I'm talking about like a ripe dumpster, like in the middle of the city or something, like downtown. Like they can almost have that like that smell. You know, like they almost have that garbage smell, or like almost like there's like new ones coming on that almost have like they call them, well, they're like garlic is a popular one, garlic or garlic. That's like in the garbage. It's almost the same as like garbage, where they have like the same kind of, some of the same smells in there, kind of. I don't know, the same terpenes. I don't like it. There's too much crossbreeding going on. They're all kind of mixing and turning into like garbage, and they end up smelling like garbage. Like, or there's, and also in that garbage phenotype are the cheese category ones, the ones that smell like cheese, like the rotten cheese ones, the gross ones, the gross like Fontina type smelling ones. Like, oh god, I can't do those. And but what gets me though is those are the ones that get you the best high. The best highs though, the highs that come out of those ones are the the best ones. It just kills me. I don't want to smell that or taste that. And they normally don't taste the way they smell, but sometimes they do, and it's too much. Like those garlic ones, I can't do that garlicky phenotype. That it's too much. Oh, I don't like that. I don't like that. Not with the weed. Not with the weed. No, no. I don't want it to smell like garlic, or like a, or I can just open a, right. It's kind of just like a block of Fontina cheese, or whatever the rotten cheese is. I don't know which rotten one it is. I don't know what, the one that is rank. Anywho, this is a gang member, Bethany Forward. I just went off again. I keep doing that. It's probably like in the 3 hours now. Lost everybody. There's maybe one straggler behind left still. Well, hey, I applaud you. I applaud you, my friend. My last friend. My only friend. I don't have any friends. Was this, a house on fire? Or is that steam? I don't have any friends. I left them all behind. And then I lost myself. And I'm still lost. I thought I knew who I was. Or was becoming. And now I don't. I don't know what the hell's going on here. Or what these things are. Oh, that's for the dry dock. The anchor ropes on there for the boat, I guess. But look how beautiful these multifaceted structures are. And all these little tiny structures here and there. Overlapping. Got the hat on. Hide in the hand. Hide in the hand. Got the bent. Look at the squared leg position. As if you ain't kidding. Just like you ain't kidding. Look at that. You have the bent knee forward, eh? Hide in the hand. Got the hat on. Got the hat on. Come on now. Bluff all the same height all the way across. Star of the show, the bluffs. Capable machinery and equipment to get the job done. You see all the functioning of it, the gears spinning, all that is out in the open. So you can see what's wrong if something goes wrong. And all this woodwork in here is all cross-hatched and perfect. It's just like, who were these people, eh? I don't think they built it. I don't think they did it. It's too much. They can't have did all this, and they thought of all this to work perfectly and to just flow in harmony, all of it connected together, and all this works perfect. And they thought of this, eh? They thought of this. All of them did. They all did. Where'd they come from then? Because they had to have done this and then came into here, right? How'd they come into here? And where'd they come from? Space? What space? The only space I'm aware of is space in their air heads, baby. Between their eye sockets, the ones who lied to us. That's the only space I'm aware of. See the bluffs out here? This one, there's one right there, a lone one by itself, one behind it there. All the same height, all the same shape. The sloped edge, flat level. And they're all the same height, each one of them. Far distance, all these, see? At the water's edge of all these lakes and streams and rivers. The square pond right here and the square pond there. Oh, he's floating some logs right now. Look at these are all logs tied up, see? They tie them up like this in these squares and they can float them down. They can tug them with a tugboat or they can push them with a raft boat. Either or. And these are all man-made waterways between here, see? Square pond back there in a canal or something that goes to it. I'm going to sneeze. And if I do that, the cat's going to do a backflip. And yeah, anywho. Okay, that's good. It's not good to hold your sneezes in. If you hold, you can really get into some serious trouble if you do that. So yeah, the bluffs are all the same size and all the same shape here, eh? Yeah. There's strange little islands there and such with all those little ponds and yeah. See that? Real clouds in the sky, cloud structure. And really, as far as the eye can see, and there's waterways back there too and such, that these are all supporting in these valleys are it's just weird. It's all the same thing everywhere. Precisely. And all at the same exact spot and location, um, in accordance to the waterways and always adjacent to the waterways, first of all. And in the same fashion, in the same shape, the same. That can't just be an accident happening everywhere. This is Wisconsin now. This is in Wisconsin. You've been to Iowa, Illinois, Missouri, Minnesota, seeing the same thing in over 150 photographs, or however many are on here. We've gone through over 150 by the end of this. Look at those power lines down there. I didn't see this shot yet. I think from this point on, I haven't seen these photographs, the ones that are on here from this point on. Or some of them I have. Never mind. Some of them I have. Some of them I have. All built out in the water for logging. See? They get these ready for the logs. They pull them out and they go on their way. And that's all built out into the river all the way down to the floor of it. Lots of power lines. And when they run along train lines, that's always power conduits that run along the train lines. Power lines run with the train lines. Some wildflowers right there. Wildflowers. And he's on the bluff. Bluff is the star of the show. He's on the bluff, looking down into the slough, which is now a small new growth forest. Structures back there, homes and such. There's something, big building. But the forest floor is very flat down there. And this is going to be a new growth forest. It doesn't even appear to be a forest yet, but it will be. It is, but it's new growth. All been planted recently. Within the last 20 years, I'd say, this looks like to me. These would have been planted about 20 years prior to this. Maybe 30, but probably 20. Just from the looks of it. And from trees I've planted and trees I've seen grow. Yeah, some buildings maybe up there, some straight, yeah, there's some buildings, something huge right there, that's gotta be a structure. Or that is a very big tree. But these trees are all very small, so it could just be a tree, but it would have been weird going, traveling down this river. Like doing this trip would have been weird because you would have came across areas on the river that would have been like bare, brand new baby trees. And then you come across another place, not that much farther down, where it's just like a huge old growth forest, as high as they are today. And then you come into an area like this again, and it would have been back and forth, back and forth. That's what it would have been like, because it changes constantly throughout this journey. See here, right here, I think, let's see what this looks like. This side looks very young. That side looks more like today's forest. Pretty significant over there. That's pretty significant. And dense as well. That's an old growth forest. That's significant. And it's healthy and expansive too. It goes around the bend and everything. So that's interesting. And then this side over here, there's babies. And like apple trees. The fence is severely damaged and the wood looks older than the hills themselves. Here's a gang member, squared arm position, squared backwards. He's got the knees slightly bent forward, and he's got the hat on. And this fence is damaged, baby. That wood looks very old, and it's all damaged too. Chunks blown out. Look at that. That's all that's left of that board. Oh no, they used the. Oh no, this is like a repaired. This seems to be a fence that they made out of the broken fence that probably blew down and was damaged during the event, probably. Or, yeah, it's something, because they've used like branches too for posts. These are branches. It's like they've There probably was a fence that came down. They just picked it up and rebuilt it. This is what you expect from these folks who are just, sauntering around like this fella here, creeping around. This is what they would have been capable of and what we would expect. Sharp edges on the branches that they've used for posts, and jagged branches like this with big holes in it and ready to snap. That's what we would expect. This is the type of stuff. But that's not what we see. Very seldom. We very seldom see that, really. We don't see a whole lot of this often. Like this, the type of stuff they should be building. We don't see that. Or the stuff the stuff they show us that is like looking like this is just like really old damaged stuff from the Xbox. It's just damaged. Like it was a nice wood structure, but now it's just all crooked and lopsided because it's damaged. Again, from here it looks like a pretty big forest with, you got over the canopy, you got a few of these tall ones. Like that's like an old growth forest. You always have like a few really tall trees that overstretch the canopy. That's like an old growth forest. Where is this? Merrimack, Minnesota. I never heard of that. Never heard of Merrimack. I've heard of the Merrimack River out east. But again, another damaged fence. Missing. Yeah. Oh, this is the same fence. We're just farther back. Farther back, same place. Again, Merrimack, same place. Vessels in the water. Steam vessel. Oh, same. We saw this before, just from a different view. So he went all around different points in the bluffs here to get shots of the same area at Merrimack. Logs in the water, cut logs. This is a land bar, so this was something. That's why this boat's docked here. This was, see, it's artificial. It's docked on it. So is all this. It's flooded over though, and damaged. 2.5 hours. My goodness, am I going to be able to upload this even? I'll have to go to Minneapolis to do that. Not here in the suburbs where I am with this speed. Even with my 5G wideband, it'd take me probably 3 hours to upload that or more, or probably all day. It has taken me all day to upload a video before. All day. Like I could have went somewhere and did it, but I just, just start in the morning and then just leave it. Come back at like in the evening, it's still not done yet. That type of thing. When I first started to upload videos, I could do it in like seconds. I don't know why I could. It was seconds I could do it. And then something happened, like, I don't know, some months into me uploading videos, like not that much longer after I started uploading them, like protocols changed and YouTube started changing a bunch of stuff. And then it took like forever to start to, I couldn't upload videos anymore. Like it took over like 45 minutes to just do a 10-minute video at one point. It was pretty bad. Yeah, it was like, a 10-minute video took like 45 minutes or something like that. So he's on one of the bluffs. I'm getting tired. I haven't eaten my pie yet either. I have to eat my pie. What am I doing? Hey, I could eat the pie. I could just hit the pause button. I could eat my pie. I could hit the pause. See, now that gets the blood flowing. You eat a piece of pie, a piece of pumpkin pie, and the blood's flowing, and even the cat's up now. The cat got up. He's rolling around here. Oh, that's a big stretch. Hey, Joe, Lana's a sausage link. Hey, whiz. Like a foot long at the fair, eh? Oh, goodness me. Okay, so now we're back. Got about 12 left, and these are probably the best ones, these last ones. The best for last. Some of my favorite shots are on these last ones. But here's another shot of the river making a bend, making one of the bends. All the stones, all the ice had to make this bend as well, and had to not roll off course either. No ice, no stones were allowed to be rolling off course. They had to stay tightly knit and just make these cuts and bends as they travel hundreds of miles. And as they construct them, stuff into themselves like this. Oh, upside down kitty. You're upside down. Silly. So, this is Minneapolis. Hang on. 1889. This is in Minneapolis. This bridge is no longer there. Again, trees growing in the piers, bridge in the background right there. That's the Marshall Bridge. We saw that earlier. And the bluffs. These are the very bluffs right here, the actual ones that we have pulled bricks out of these bluffs. The walls, these are walls, straight up and down walls, and we have pulled bricks out with stamps on them from these walls. On both sides, Minneapolis and St. Paul. Minneapolis on this side, St. Paul on this side. Barrels, look at this barrel. Does it get any more old world than that right there? Than a barrel in the water floating downriver. Logs here in Minneapolis and St. Paul. We got logs floating downriver. Huge mess everywhere. A hot mess. And this is debris. This is people. This is their shit. See? They cut these logs. They packed these barrels, and now they're floating downriver. This dam. This is cool. Watch this. Yes, that dam was straight at one time. Yes, these were all straight. Those are the fins in the Lowhead Dam. This is the Lowhead Dam, see? Those were the fins. In those, I forget what you call those. And yes, these were straight at one time. Arrow straight. These here twisted like spaghetti noodles looking here, see? All these were straight as an arrow right in the middle of this at one time. And this either was coming to a point, like a pitched roof almost, which I think it was. Like a triangular point, or it would have been like rounded over, or maybe even square. I don't know, but no, it seems like it came to a point. Some low-head dams do this, and some are kind of like rounded too. But you can see that point right there, and this would have been the fins. They've melted down into it. Otter chute closing dam. It's all muffed up. You can see the bricks are still running courses right there. And over here they look like stones mangled out and such. And here we go. Got the eye in the hand, head on the head. Knees bent, slightly bent forward. And same thing here. Knee is slightly bent forward. And got the squared arm position there. Eye in the other hand. Got a spear in this hand. And maybe a fishing rod too. Or a gun. He's got a gun. Got a rifle. So that's how they did this mission. That's how they pulled it off. They had weapons along with them. That's questionable as well. Where were all the people in these shots? There were no people besides them and their guns. So that's interesting. And we'll never know what they did. And this is one of my favorite shots. One of my favorite ones. Look at the bluffs. Look at the bluffs at the water's edge. Look at the city. Look at that town, that village. The spires. Oh, that's a cathedral. That's enormous. Look at that building. Big building. And this is you gotta be kidding me. And remember, St. Paul and Minneapolis, we've pulled bricks out of these bluff walls with stamps on them. And I still have the videos up. More than once we've done that. Minneapolis and St. Paul, bricks out of these bluffs. Look at how perfect this is. It's all the buildings are facing the same direction. The log cabin there, foreground, destroyed. Absolutely destroyed. City is empty. I don't see one person anywhere. Haven't the whole set. Look back here. Same shape, flat and level on top. Same shape, flat and level on top. Same shape, flat and level on top. Next one, same shape, flat and level on top. Next one, same shape, flat and level. Sloped edge, flat and level on top. And the houses going all the way up the hilltop. all the way up to the hilltop. Right here in a 45-degree grade, and we're building houses perfectly, and we're pulling it off perfectly. And we're building homes that look about 300 years old. And yeah, there's a barge right there. There's a barge right there. Steeple spire, clock tower maybe. And you ain't kidding. Hello. What? You sound bossy. What are you doing? What are you demanding of me? That's a bossy cat with that tone. Oh no, that's a baby tone. Not yeah. I see. That was woofing. You were just making that up. You were trying to trick me. You were trying to trick me with that sweet meow. See? And then you went back to that tone again. You see, I think I'm stupid, eh? Okay. Oh, don't start knocking on that. What? Oh my goodness. Hang on a moment. Excuse me. Well, what do you want? Do you want to go outside? What? Well, you go outside. You can't go out there all the way outside. You go in the sunroom. You stop bonking. Well, stop bonking your head on that, eh? I'm almost done. There's only a few photographs. Come on. You come out here and hang out here. Eh? You hang out here. Nah. Come, the door's open. You come out here, eh? See here, eh? Those footprints out there. I don't know if those are cows or I don't think anybody's dog was in our yard last night, so those are probably coyotes. Yeah, you wait in here, that's good. Hey, wait. Okay, what? Where am I? Am I playing? Oh shit, I am playing. Oh, I thought I hit pause. You dillwad. Well, anywho, I let the cat out, obviously you know. Ah, stupid. I hit pause. I don't know. What, did I just hit pause again and just pause myself? Okay, we're still going. I guess we're still going, and that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna keep going. What an idiot. I'm sitting there talking to the cat. Anywho. Yeah, this is empty. There ain't nobody here. Ain't nobody here. Another one. Beautiful woodwork on the balcony there and on the deck, and there's nice stuff going on. Very nice stuff going on. Very nice. Santa Fe. Oh, this will be a BNSF railway bridge. Santa Fe. And I guess swing bridge. Another swing. Oh, wow. That sucker. Oh, wow. It goes into a wooden trestle all the way down. My God. These bridges in Iowa, man, I'm telling you, Iowa and Illinois, the bridges there, so many of these things like this, these big, long truss bridges. Huge iron, they're fancy iron trusses too. Look how you go into this. You go in through there, it's all fancy. These are all plate and rivet design, plate and rivet girders, plate and rivet everything to make up all that bridge. Just plates and rivets. And these right here, they mark the swing gates, where the gate swings open, so that the boat traffic knows. I'm guessing they likely have lights on them too. Maybe. They got what that thing. What is that? That, I don't know what that is. Looks more like a receiver of some kind. Electric receiver, I don't know. And to get these things in the ground for the cables, which are these strange cables here. Oh, the cat's already inside me. Oh, she didn't come in here. I'm not gonna. Usually she comes in here, she screams at me. But she just went to her food bowl. Oh, it's good. She's not gonna do it. She's not gonna scream at me. That's a first. Oh, she's comfortable too. We're good to go. Look at these bluffs. Same shape, flat level. Same shape, flat level. Same shape, flat level. Same height at the water's edge. City down here below. Look at the power lines going into it. See? Coming from out of nowhere. Down the rail lines probably. House way up there. On top of that hill. Inside of the hill. And right down here at the bottom. Right in the center of the valley where all the nice landslide debris can come sliding down. I don't think landslides were much of an issue back in the old world. I don't think that this was in such jeopardy like it is now after the event. I think this was a lot more. I think you were able to trust the infrastructure around you a lot more. Steam billowing from all these homes, all these shots. There's people. At least somebody's around. There's always steam coming from like one of these joints. It seems. There's people there, but not many. And there's a lot of debris just hanging out in the water and stuff. What's that? Very young trees in this one. Very young. Is this where, Wisconsin? Yeah, Bad Axe, Wisconsin. Bad Axe. Bad Axe. That's a great name. Bad Axe. And that's 1885, like 6 years before the White House had power, that we're seeing power lines coming into a no-name city in the middle of nowhere, where we would absolutely have no telegraph wires for any reason, and telephone was not even invented yet, or even being used as a thing yet, and really until like the 1920s and 30s. This is also, this is Wisconsin, La Crosse, somewhat of a big city, kind of big city. Been through it a few times. This is nice raft boat. We got a big paddler right there. See, big one. Inside, it's housed inside of that one. Sometimes they're external, they're on the outside and the back. Looks like a little pontoon vessel right there, but there's no paddler on that one, unless it's on that side. But I don't think there is. I see a steam stack, but this is weird. Weird how some of these boats, I don't know. That one might have propellers. I don't know. They could have propellers. A lot of them were using these paddlers though, but they're nice. This is some sort of a mill back here, see? Operation. These big stacky buildings are always like mills. Wood milling and different metal processing stuff, or usually wood ore processing facilities will have these big stacky looking buildings like this. They're made of wood, usually wood. And these are old world when you see these. They're usually right at the edge of water, like a lake or the ocean or a river. These types of stacky mills will be at these facilities. These will be at the water's edge always. Oh, look at this. We got some power lines back there, baby. Look at all these dancing around with each other back there. All sorts of stuff going on. Might be a metal sheet building. I don't know. Here's some Indian. Are these teepees? Are you kidding me? Do we actually have teepees out here? What are these? They look almost a little too small to be any teepees to me, but that's kind of weird. I mean, why would they be living like? Why would they have teepees right there like that though? This is in the water. There's those logs floating in here. See? Why would the Indians be right here? I don't think those are teepees. Are they? Or are these logs that they're stacking up, that they're cleaning up out here, that they're stacked up? There's something out there too. What is that? Strange with these teepee looking things. What the hell are those? I mean, this is not like a teepee setup. That's not how they did it. I can show you some teepee stuff. We'll talk about that later. I got some stuff to talk about with that. The Indian stuff is not making any sense. And these don't look like teepees. They look more like piles that have been teepeed up. Like they're grabbing this stuff out here that's scattered about the big stuff and they're stacking it together. Maybe they're gonna use it or something. I don't know. That's weird. Not really the ideal place for Indians to be hanging out right here at in the water, in the mud, at the edge of this water that rises and lowers constantly and probably floods this out all the time. And with that mill structure being right there, and I don't think it's an ideal place. Because I guarantee you, all this stuff, this harbor and all this was all here when these Indians were here. This stuff was all here too. So I don't know what those are. They're not uniform. They're not the same size. Usually teepees are all the same size, like always. This Rock Rapids, Rock Island Rapids, and that's in Illinois, I think. Again, the river plus. It's nice. Oh, look, the Rothschilds have already been creeping around, sauntering around the area, influencing things, flaunting money, lots of money. They like to flaunt it off. My favorite shot. I damn near cried when I saw this shot. You know, because this is the oldest shot of Minneapolis I've ever seen. It confirmed so many buildings that I've wondered if they were old world. I just couldn't tell if they were or not. It confirmed that with a few of these buildings, and I haven't even gone through this thoroughly yet. And there are so many buildings that are not supposed to be here that are here. The bridge that's not supposed to be there, that's in the shot. A bridge that's supposed to be already supposed to be. Oh no, that bridge is correct in the back. But there's a bridge that's not supposed to be here, and it's kind of skewed too. Over here, there's some fogging right there, some strange fogging, and that's because the Third Avenue Bridge is coming in right there and meeting its abutment, and they don't want you to see its last arch, which would have been visible right there. They don't want you to see that because it's skewed behind this bridge. He got a perfect shot where he's blocking the Third Avenue Bridge, which is behind there. You can see it coming into it, and then it disappears right there in that foggy stuff. The bridge behind this. This is a Stone Arch Bridge right here. There's another one behind it. We've seen it before. The Arch Spandrel Bridge, and if you can see right here, these cables right there. That's the Hennepin Avenue Bridge right there. This is the top of that right there. That's so this is where's the train trestle? Yeah, see, they've really skewed off the train trestle part of this bridge. There's a train trestle attached to it, or a truss rather, with a train truss. And there's also, and that's where the bridge is meeting up, the Third Avenue Bridge. And yeah, this is one of the shots they've altered, the few they've altered, but the whole city. This is 1885, so this is 30 years exactly into the build. There should be tons of scaffolding on nearly every building. There should be scaffolding. There should be lots of cranes, lots of people around doing stuff, but every building is there. This is the area where maybe I have maybe 100 videos made in this down here by the river. My first videos, I first saw the melt over here, down here at this bridge. This is where it all began for me. It's all down in this area. Pillsbury Mills are right there. There's the A mill, and this you ain't kidding. This big building right there has been torn down. That was I forget what they called that building, but that was a big deal when that one got demolished, and people were happy about it rather. Now, today, they're wishing it was there again. It was a beautiful building. And yeah, there's tons of buildings that are down there that are not there at all today. All these pitched roof buildings, don't know what the hell any of those are. None of them are there. All these pitched roof buildings right here, 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 all these pitched roof buildings. All as far as back as that spire back there, which is that church. None of that stuff is there anymore. All this is gone. All those buildings are gone. These buildings are all still there, and they were great to verify. Some of these, which I thought, some of these, like the ones back here, I didn't know for sure if they were old world or not. Not these ones, not the brick ones. The ones behind them, though, I can see are still there. These ones that step up. They're like weird. They were kind of weird. They almost seem to be like modern-ish, but they're not. They're there, right there. And a few other things too. I was looking at this more. I have to scan through here. Sorry, I got some. This chair is okay. There. And yeah, so I have to look through this and see what else is there. There's so many buildings I can already see over here that aren't supposed to be there, that are supposed to be 1900s builds. And on this side too. Once I can just get a map and start knocking off what buildings are which, I think that's the post office there, with the stack here and this chimney. Maybe the post. No, the post office is over here. What am I thinking? The post office is right here. It should have a stack. A chimney. Oh, there it is. This chimney stack. Anywho, that's pretty cool to see. This bridge has been torn down, and I've never seen an image of this. I've only seen. Now they have an artist rendition of this, like a drawing of the same shot, like the same view, even from the same spot. There's an artist drawing of this, and that's what you get if you Google the earliest rendition of Minneapolis. You get an artist drawing of the same view from like right here. So to see this actually, like I almost cried. I almost lost it. I was like, no way! The whole city's there. The whole city's there. Everything is there. That's there today. I mean, it's ridiculous. Everything. And this bridge, I've never seen it before. And actually, the artist rendition has this bridge on the wrong side. They drew this bridge on the other side between the Hennepin Bridge and the Stone Arch Bridge. They have it between these two bridges back here. But look at it, it's already damaged. This is supposed to be a 30-year-old bridge, like brand new. Not even like because they didn't build this in the first year that they started building. This was one of the later bridges that they built. They built the Stone Arch first. The first one was the Hennepin Bridge that you can barely see back there. See, it's the cables it's kind of diagonal right there, going to that post right there is the center of the bridge. The cables go to it. The Second Avenue Bridge is just very visible back here until it gets fogged off. And that's crazy. And this is already, look at this crashing into the river. This one's been demolished and torn down. This front one, the one behind it, the Stone Arch Bridge, is now is having a facelift because ever since I did that video here exposing this bridge and all of its damaged condition and all the mortar and stuff, they started a project and they shut half the bridge down. And what are they repairing but the mortar on this bridge? So half the bridge now and half the bridge after that. And that was right after I exposed the bridge for exactly that, its mortar condition, which was apparent to see. I mean, that's not what I'm looking for. Which was what's the word I'm looking for? Well, it was evidence either way, and it was obvious to see that this bridge was severely damaged and had tons of conditional issues with the mortar. And yeah, I just find it really interesting that within the same year I do that, they just quickly decide, and this was like a on the moment idea, to shut half the bridge down and just start doing repairs on it. And they're repairing exactly what I pointed out was so damaged, and so they're watching us. I definitely don't think that was just a coincidence. Like literally, just a few months after I did that, and that was specifically what I came down. What I was pointing out in this video was all its mortar condition between the massive brick blocks. And I just love how this is just like it's already collapsing. These are logs. Look at the logs everywhere. The logs were in Minneapolis. They were in St. Louis, in Des Moines, everywhere. See? Cut logs just floating everywhere. Just a huge mess of logs everywhere in the river after the event. Entire operations like fell over in the river. I just can't believe the whole city is there, and even more. There's more here than there is now today. That's what's blowing my mind. All these buildings are not there. These pitched roof buildings are not there today. These ones, I think one of them is the Nicollet Island Inn, but the one next to it's not there anymore. And you ain't kidding. The whole city's built out. That's the earliest photograph I've ever found of Minneapolis. There's two more. This is in, now where is this one? This is in, oh, this is Minnesota, Lake City. Another city I don't even really know. I've heard of this one, but I've never been there. Right? No, I don't even know where it is. But the bluff, see the bluff here? Flat and level on top, same size, all the way across at the water's edge. Who built this out? This has been finished with concrete beautifully, and that's a lot of work. It's all been done, brought out in the water. Oh, I didn't see that. P. Beck. And the old world company names were just the name of the people. They just named, it was their company. This guy, P. Beck's company, that was just it. Or these brothers, started a company, the Hank Bros or whatever. But today, they make up stupid names and stuff. Stupid names. Doors are wide open. Windows wide open. Everybody's dead here. No steam billowing. They're all dead. Lake Pippin. Lake Scottie Pippen. He was gay, No, not Scottie Pippen. Oh, he was probably gay too, but man, Dennis Rodman, boy, what a flower, but what a player on the court, though. What a monster on the court, but boy, that was very inappropriate. Very inappropriate. Very inappropriate. Oh, they're standing on it now. So now we're looking at the same thing from beyond. There's the bluffs, there's the town. So we were over there looking this way before. Now we're over here looking this way. And look at this house way up there. As if it's just, a piece of cake. The Alamo right there, the Alamo building, like in San Antonio. I've been to the Alamo once. What did I do there? I don't remember much of the Alamo. I remember some gardens we went to around there. That's about it. But I remember that was the first time I ever saw, when I went to Texas, I was maybe about 7 or 8. The first time I ever saw the thrilling outdoor activity, this is when I first saw this, of cardboard grass sliding. Because they don't get snow in Texas, right? So what they were doing in the winter, these kids, they were sliding on the hills, the grass hills, like we do in the winter here in Minnesota on snow, but they were doing it on cardboard, on the grass. Oh, oh my God. When I brought that back to Minnesota, let me tell you, I got in trouble at school. I got in trouble at school for bringing that to school. Okay, I brought a few things to school. I brought the armpit fart to school as well. That really set some alarms off and but hey, pants on the I've been doing this. I've been doing this pants on the ground thing for a long time, and getting in trouble for it too. So it's not easy. This stuff ain't easy, baby. It ain't easy. But stay away from that. Stay away from that cheetah. You stay away from those Cheetos. That's the worst kind of poison. If you want to suffer the worst kind of death, keep eating the Cheetos and the Doritos. If you want to suffer, you keep eating those things from that demon. That's the devil himself. Chester's the devil himself. You've seen him, right? You've seen their mascot. He's the devil himself. With the sunglasses, the cheetah. That's him. That's the one. That's him himself. There he is. There he is, baby. There he is. You're sitting there eating Cheetos with a napkin. With a napkin. I'm sorry, I'm losing it now. Maybe I shouldn't have. Maybe one bong would have been enough. Hey, now we're getting silly. At the last photograph too, the last one. City's built out. I went the whole time. I didn't laugh. I just screwed up at the end, eh? I screwed up at the end. You always blow it. I blew it today too. I went out to go ride the damn scooter. Last day to ride. We had a couple of unusually warm, seasonably warm days. 40 degrees. We're supposed to be negatives, but quickly now we've switched over. It was 40 this afternoon, today or tonight. 11 o'clock right now, or 10. It's already, what is it now? Oh, it's still 22. Well, by sometime tonight, that's already 20-degree difference. But sometime tonight, it's going to be -10, I think, or -6 tonight, -10 tomorrow night. Yeah, big difference. Big difference. What was I saying? I forgot what I was saying now. We're on the last one. Now look at the city is built out. This is a causeway at Niota. Oh, Niota is a city, I guess. So that was a city built out like this. I thought it was Des Moines looking like that. I was like, we saw it before. It said Niota Dam or something. I said, what is that? Must be Des Moines, but no, I think this is its own city, and it's looking like a city like Des Moines should look like today. Maybe Des Moines shouldn't even look like this. I don't even think I don't even think Chicago should have been this built out in 1885. I mean, what the hell is a city in Illinois that I've never even heard of looking like this for in 1885? I mean, this is what Chicago should look like in this time period. But this is not even Chicago. This is some other city in Illinois. Maybe it's a big. I don't know. I don't know. I know Peoria is a bigger city in Illinois. Peoria is a known city. I know Keithsburg in Chicago. What the hell is Neota though? I've never heard of Neota. I don't know. The forests are kind of semi young, kind of shrubby. A little bush there. What's the lone bush doing here by itself? That's not cool. Yeah, humiliate the bush. Let him out there be by himself. Eh? Have him out there be all by himself. And there's stuff out there. I don't know what he's. Oh, there's something in the water too. What's that? All sorts of strange stuff. There is something going across the river right there. Uh-huh. These transmission towers? What are these now? I don't know what those are. This is the same city though that we saw transmission towers, big ones down here. Same city, I'm pretty sure. Big building right there. And these just seem to be specks on the photograph, maybe. But that right there looks like it's in the shot, like it has a shadow. This too has a shadow. See this one? It's lighter on one side up here, and then the bottom side over here is darker. Could be a bird, but it could be a blimp. It could be blimps too. They had blimps, airships, whatever you want to call them. Something there. I don't know. Some of it looks like it's actually there in the shot. The white specks here and there look kind of more like, I don't know, like just contamination. But I find it strange how none of those white specks go onto the land part. They don't like continue onto the land. They're not out here. So I'm wondering, like, are those stars maybe that the camera's picking up that we can't see? Possibly. Maybe the camera's more sensitive and can see the stars that we can't see when the sun's this close. I don't know. Something like that. But that seems to be something in the sky right there. You know, has a shadow. And those, I don't know. I would say contamination, but they're not on anywhere else in the shot. They're not anywhere else. They're not like, maybe they are. Not the, I don't know. Maybe they are everywhere. If these are the same thing up there, it could be contamination. Anywho, we made it through all these photographs. That's all of it. We saw the collection, the Henry Peter Boss collection, Views on Upper Mississippi River. I like this collection. I thought it was cool. Interesting. All that power, yet no people anywhere. Where are they? I can't go back to this. How do I do that? No. Anyway, that's alright. Let's go here. Yeah, anyhow. So now we've seen the whole collection. That was the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers views on Upper Mississippi River. To me, it seems that this was a collection that was, or a project unfinished on the U.S. Army Corps' end, that is, and but very much compelling. And I think there's many great examples of out of place artifacts in these photographs, that things that aren't supposed to be there and that don't add up in the time periods because they're not supposed to be there. I mean, we saw, it makes no sense to me to see power conduits running through cities before the White House even had a light bulb lit. In the middle of nowhere in cities I've never heard of in my life. And I've been everywhere. In my own states, my own two home states, Wisconsin as well. And these are cities I've never heard of, nobody's ever heard of. And yet he's getting these picturesque views of these bluffs. Somehow they knew that these locations would have, just the right spot for him to get these shots as well. Yeah. How do they know that? How do their eyes, how do their eyes, how do their minds see that? From St. Paul, Minnesota, how were they able to see that, envision this journey, and see that, okay, at this location, he's going to be able to see this and have a great shot of these bluffs here, so we'll send him there. Because they had to think carefully on where they would send him, right? It had to be worth it, because he's taking trains or boats or whatever. It's going to be a while for him to get to where he's going to go. It took him 10 years to do this. Yeah, I think, like, it has to be solid. Like, you have to have a good reason to send them to where you're going to send them to, or you're not going to do it. And somehow they knew that at each one of these places, in the middle of nowhere, all over the place, that he would have these perfect shots of these artificial structures, and probably some of the best examples in the area, showing off their artificial nature, and examples that really display that and show. That just is weird. It's almost spooky how they would know such a thing, and why they put such a collection together in this time period without, like, internet, or without that type of availability, or that quick on demand. How do you know that? Because they had to know what each one of these places looked like before they sent them there. I don't know. It makes you wonder if the technologies that they had available were a lot more like ours as well. I'm talking about even, like, the ability to, like, see maps, and maybe even technologies like digital technologies. Maybe they even had a lot of stuff like that. I mean, there's no way that we decided. I mean, that we came up with that stuff, TVs and all that. You think that we did that? Really? I don't think we did. I can't even. I still. I don't understand how a TV even works. Honestly, I don't even understand really. I try to understand, and it still makes no sense how it works. I mean, I get the picture part, but I don't get how to transfer them. I don't. Magic to me. People use magic every day. This stuff is magic, and we don't even understand it's like magic. Right, I know. Okay, I should be done. That's good. It's been about like 5 hours. Everybody's gone anyway. I'm just talking to myself. That's okay. We do that anyway, don't we, Lila? We talk to ourselves. Hey, we do. We do. Say goodnight. That's good. Say goodnight, okay? Say goodnight. Huh? Say goodnight. I love you all. Take care. See you soon.